I have no interest in getting by. Either we're absolutely going to the fucking moon or nothing. I am not trying to make it in this business. I want to crush it in this business. I want to change lives. I want to break superstars. I have no interest in making a living.
Nael, Alyce, thank you so much for coming on the Manager's Playbook. This is going to be a fun episode. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, a fellow.
My first time.
Your first time being in front of the camera.
Yep. I'm definitely a behind the camera type of gal, but I'm excited.
You know what's crazy is that like, because all of us who are, on the business side of the music, we're all that way. You were just like, feel very comfortable behind the camera, and then coming on the podcast, it's always this like, this thing where you like, I don't know, but it's fine,
Yeah, I'm not nervous.
Well, you shouldn't be. I mean, because listen, at the end of the day, you guys represent some incredible artists, some incredible producers, writers.
Thank you.
Grass-fed music. Habibeats is the premier artist, DJ, producer that you work with.
Yes.
And he's doing an incredible job, doing some massive rooms. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
You also manage your brother, Nasri, who is responsible for one of the biggest smashes that we all know, and has done a lot of great writing for artists that I'm sure that we'll get into. So like your business is incredible, but one of the more interesting facts about your business that you have together is that you're founder, president, running Grass-Fed Music, but you are also both married. And I love that. And I just kind of wanted to explore what that looks like in this business here. So I think I want to start first, maybe just give me a bit of background on both of yourselves, and we could start with yourself here, Alyce.
Yeah, so I grew up in California and in the Valley, Northridge. I never thought in my life I would be in music. It never was something like I grew up thinking about. I was always involved in music. Like I was in a band in middle school. I played the drums.
Really?
Yeah, snare drum for like drumline and stuff. But I never like thought I would have a career in music. And so yeah, met Nael when I was 21 and was always a fan of everything Nasri did without even knowing it was Nasri. So I always kind of like, it was always almost serendipitous that we were like, I felt like it was almost like meant to happen of us meeting, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, grew up went to UCI, graduated there with my business degree, and then got into business development and management, but for medical skincare. So I was always developing companies from physicians or dermatologists or plastic surgeons. And I would go to them and they would tell me their revenue, whether it was like they were making $1 million a year, 5 million, and how to scale that. So that was always what I was doing for companies prior.
Scaling.
Yeah, scaling, business development, figuring out like the hiring, the process, the firing process, which wasn't fun, KPIs, all the above. And then when I was 21, I met Nael. And I think from there, I met everyone around him and slowly learned about the music business. Was never fully crazy about it. I only wanted to be in music if I fell in love with an artist.
Okay.
So that was my thing. I actually was like hesitant to be part of it just from everything that I would see or understand. And
from when you guys were dating, you would see it and just be like, okay, got you, yeah.
Yeah, I never like grew up being like, okay, I want to be in music, which I think is an advantage for me to an extent because I don't go into it like, what's the word, like highlighting or like, like praising maybe like artists or who executives are. I never like looked at it that way. I only looked at it as the artist. Like I had to fall in love with the artist to be fully committed because I'm the type of girl that's like, it's like 0 or 100. There is no like middle ground. So if I'm in with your career, I'm like fully in and obsessing about it, thinking about it at night, thinking about it in the morning. So I never thought about music as a career until, meeting with Nael. And then obviously there was always like amazing, like one of my closer friends is Julia Michaels. So I saw her career start from the beginning, like as a writer to an artist and like people around her who became like close mentors, like Becca Titchener and Lucas Keller was a great mentor of mine. And
Becca's great.
Becca is great.
Yeah.
Julia was her bridesmaid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was one of
Before she was in music. Before Alyce was in music.
Yeah.
was your bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Your bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Oh, at y'all wedding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I thought for Becca, you said, okay.
No,
Yeah. No way.
She came all the way to Nazareth
So
for our wedding.
This is before you're in music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are super close.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like obviously getting to know Nasri and loving what he did and looking up to Nael. And between Nael, Becca, and Lucas, I felt like, and Julia, it was like a lot of people around me were like, you have to do music. Like you would be amazing as a manager. Because it was something I was doing prior to music, but in a different industry.
Yeah. Okay, and yourself?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm 42, so been in the business for a minute. From Scarborough.
84?
Yeah, that's right, bro. 84, dude.
Same here.
Shit, you already know.
Same here. That's for sure.
So, started a long time ago. It's funny how I started is MySpace. So like when MySpace had the top 8 game, I was sitting in sales and I was like a hustler, man. I did everything you could imagine, but I was sitting in sales at this sales job where I'd make like 150 calls a day. And I'd have my MySpace open, my brother's MySpace, Nasri's. And at the time, I was switching his top 8 to who I thought he should work with. And I kept putting Chris Brown and Justin Bieber and all these people. And then my brother's like, what are you doing? I was like, bro, somehow you're going to work with these people. I don't know how, but I'm just going to keep managing your MySpace. And he's like, okay. And he was like, kind of couldn't stand that I would always call him about like music. And he's like, bro, like I'm busy.
About the business?
Yeah. And I wasn't
like giving him ideas and stuff?
or like, yo, what'd you do next? Or who'd you work with next? And then one day he worked with New Kids on the Block. He met Donnie Wahlberg.
Crazy.
And then, that was like the beginning of his songwriting career. And then he moved to LA and then everybody was working with him and he was crushing it. And I would just call him every day from my sales job, like, bro, what can I do? What can I do next? And he's like, I don't know what you can do. You just figure it out. And so I took a leap of faith at like 27, very late in the business, 26, and I just went to LA and I just started sleeping on his couch and sleeping on Adam Messenger, who's also Canadian, who he represents couch. And I would just be like a man of service. I've always been that, but I was like, what do you need? And I will do. Just tell me what you need me to do and I will do. They're like, okay, clean the studio, find a producer and mixing engineer, find a guitar player, find a musician. And I was also just this tough kid who, kind of grew up like, I'm the type that's like, I'll watch Backstreet Boys, but I'll also knock your lights out if you like test me enough. So
you definitely have that intensity about you. That's for sure.
I grew up like listening to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Boyz II Men and obsessing over them, crying because I couldn't be a part of it. But I was also like a fucking tough ass kid who like got in trouble every day and got into fights every day. So I knew when I came to LA that I can make an impact on people. I just didn't know how. So one day a friend of mine said, just be of service to people, man. Just help them. Don't get anything from them. Help them.
Yep.
And so that's what I did. I started servicing every writer, every producer, giving them whatever they want. And then my brother was noticing, Nasri was noticing. He's my big brother. And
give context to who your brother is.
Okay, so
I gave a little, but I want you to give the proper context.
Yeah, so Nasri Atweh, obviously one of the greatest songwriters of all time. I mean, he has alone written 18 records for Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber performed 4 of his records on Coachella 2 weekends ago. Yeah. Nasri also started a band called Magic with fellow Canadians that had a 10 million sold song called Rude that has transcended to this day. They've put out 4+ albums. They've toured.
Everyone knows that record.
Yeah.
Everyone in the world knows that record.
Yeah.
But prior to that, Nasri,
I didn't even know they were Canadian. Because I heard it so much on the radio. When you hear that on the radio so much back home in Toronto, what year was that? That was like,
gosh,
I think it was like 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah. No, more.
No, more than
Has
that.
So 2010 maybe?
I think 2010.
Oh, I
gotta remember.
Pandemic years has got to feel like there's like 3 years that just went like that. Yeah. 4 years. So yeah, okay, about that time.
So yeah, and like, Nasri,
Monster.
It was funny because prior to Magic, Nasri was trying to be an artist. And he's still pursuing his own artist career, but he was really going for it. And his lawyer told him one day, listen, you got to make money, bro. So why don't you go to LA and start writing songs? And he's like, start writing for other people.
Which is not the way to make money in the business.
Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But back in the day,
for sure.
If you get a placement, mechanical royalties were insane.
Yeah.
So Nasri went with Adam.
More physical product. Too.
Exactly. And they started writing. And next thing you know, Nasri demo folder gets in the hands of Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block. And Donnie Wahlberg's lawyer is a guy named Jamie Roberts, legendary lawyer, who's still my brother's lawyer to this day. And they were like, Donnie might want to bring New Kids on the Block back, but he doesn't know what the music to do, la-di-da-di. And one day, Donnie has a CD from my brother, and he's like in his car driving, and he puts it in the car, and he hears all these songs. He's like, what? These are incredible. And the story is that like a group of girls pulled up beside him. They're like, do you like this? And they're like, we really do. And then the next day, he's like, New Kids on the Block is back. And then so he called my brother and Adam, had them come out, and they made the entire album. And my brother birthed the entire career of New Kids on the Block's comeback. And then they went and did all those arena tours and cruises and everything. Wow. And then from there, my brother was just noticed, and he was so tenacious. I mean, one thing about my brother, he's absolutely like delusional in the sense of like his goals, and nothing will get in his way. Really? And he was bullied as a young person, so he overcame that by like, I will write a better song than you, I will outperform you, I will outplay you, I'll outbeat you. And so that's how we got to Justin Bieber. That's how we got to Chris Brown. He knew Bieber was at a hotel, he pulled up on him, and he went right up to Scooter, and he's like, I got songs for you. They were very defensive, but then Bieber was like, Bieber was like, no, I fuck with this guy for some reason.
Wait, I just have to stop you there for a second, because this is fascinating. I'm sure people appreciate this. Maybe we'll use this, maybe we will. Yeah. But how did he know that he was going to be at this place? Like, you know, did he?
I don't know.
Okay.
That part I don't know. I think it was a coincidence, and my brother knew he was there, and he pulled
somehow
up.
Connected the dots. Yeah, okay.
Yes. And then he did the same thing with Chris Brown.
He just waited?
He just waited. And then he did the same thing with Chris Brown. I think the story was he challenged him to a basketball game. And my brother was so good that Chris gave him a chance. And then from there, my brother...
They played a game of ball?
Yeah. And one of the original people that really helped Nasri take to where he is now was Luke James.
Okay.
Remember Luke James?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so they did a song called That Should Be Me together. That was for Bieber. That like was a huge success. And then they did a bunch of other records. And then Adam and Nasri just became the go-to person for Bieber. I remember Scooter would call them at 3 a.m, FaceTiming them. Need a record. Bieber needs to have 20% publishing. Things like that. And my brother was always like, yes, no problem. Whatever you need, brother. I'm here to write it. And he never even worked with Bieber that much in person. He just knew how to write what Bieber wanted. And if you listen back to all the old Bieber records, you hear my brother's voice in every record. All the background vocals, all the harmonies are still my brother's to this day. I mean, he got health insurance from AFTRA just from writing those records. So from there, Adam and Nasri became the messengers, and they were like really hot production company, getting cuts with everyone, you know, building really close relationships with all the other male artists. And that's where I was like, I want to be a part of this. I grew up listening to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and you guys are literally working with artists. I was like, how do I be a part of this? So I just kept showing up, and they didn't want me there at first, but I just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. And I remember one time Adam and Nasri said, if you can't make it in Toronto, you can't make it here.
That's always been a thing for everybody in Toronto. It's like, if you can make it in Toronto, you can make it anywhere.
So they kicked me out.
I'll say that, yeah.
They kicked me out. They literally kicked me out. I was crying. I was depressed. And it wasn't like they were being malicious.
What do you mean they kicked you out?
They're like, you can't be here. You need to leave.
He kicked you out of here?
Out of LA. Yeah, I came to LA. I kept doing the 6-month thing. And they were like, dude, you can't be here anymore. Like, if you want this, go build it in Toronto and then come back. And I'm tenacious as fuck. I'm like, cool, not a problem. I went to Toronto, of course, super sad.
That's some tough love, man.
Yeah. My brother is very, very tough like that.
Tough love.
He taught me to be...
It builds.
Yeah, it makes you stronger, 100%.
Oh, yeah, man. He's kicked me out of studio sessions many times because I was negative. You know, like...
Because you were negative?
Negative. He's like, no one needs negative in the room. Get out. You know what I mean? And I was like, you're right, I'm so sorry. And I would leave, and I'd be like crying alone in our ghetto 2-bedroom apartment while he was like working till 3 a.m, trying to like feed us, you know? Yeah. My brother is a man of sacrifice. He did so much for my family, for my friends, for everyone I've been around. I mean, everyone has slept on his couch. Everyone has gotten a grand from him. Everyone has gotten a car borrowed from him. Everyone's gotten a free song, a cut, a placement. He's put on like 30 plus people that didn't really have anything going. And I went back to LA. I discovered a bunch of amazing songwriters, producers. I had them doing 2-a-days for 6 months straight. And then out of nowhere, Adam and Nasri were like, okay, bro, you proved yourself. Come back to LA. We'll figure out your visa. 5 years later, I still didn't get it figured out. I had to marry her in order to get a green card.
Had to.
Wanted to. Yeah, she offered it. She offered it.
So I'd love to talk about that there. What's that?
Yeah, she offered. She's like, why are you going to do all this? Just get a green card. Let me get your green card.
Yeah.
But how we met is the beautiful story.
Yeah, you know I wanted to know that because you were saying y'all met, but this is prior to you obviously being in the music business, right? Yeah. So how do y'all meet?
So we met in Vegas. There's this organization that my dad is part of, our family, called Friends and Family of Nazareth.
Okay.
And because that's where my family's from. They're from Nazareth. And so my dad was like the president of the organization at the time. And Nasri came and he was performing on stage to give back to the organization as well. And I was part of like the youth. So I was the one organizing all like the young kids for the after parties and all the fun stuff. But yeah, we met there. He was on the dance floor and I guess he just fell in love with me.
She won't accept the story, but this is exactly what happened, my bro. This is exactly what happened. I looked at her and I said like this.
No.
I swear. And we started dancing and then we hit it off. And then it took us about 6 to 8 months of email relationship.
Alyce is definitely like, this is not how it fucking happened.
It did.
I can see, you can say whatever you want, brother, to make yourself feel better, but you know, Alyce like, nah.
She just doesn't want the part that I was like some cocky guy.
The first night that we met, he thought for whatever reason that he was going to get something. And I was like, not happening. So when I saw him, he literally was sitting next to me with his phone out, texting his like roommate at the time and was like, please don't come to the room. Like, just, I have a girl in the room. Thinking like, I'm sitting next to him, like, I'm not going to see this.
You're right. You're seeing me. You're like,
I'm like, okay,
buddy,
bye. See you later, you know? And then I was like, not talking to you tonight. And then the next morning he came and apologized.
That's right. And I remember there was a beautiful moment.
There's the story.
Yes.
There's the real story.
That's the story. But this part is real. But there was a...
This part is real. In my mind, I'm leaving it at this. We fell in love. We got married.
It stops there. But like, I remember there was one moment where she like basically gave me an ultimatum. And I was like, I want to meet your parents. She's like, you're not meeting my parents if I'm not your girlfriend. And I was like, okay, you're my girlfriend. Done. Right that moment. I was like, you're my girl. I'm not. And at the time, you know, we were just talking. We weren't like fully in. So I was somewhat, you know, like having other conversations. And I was like, you're my girlfriend. I will not speak to anyone else but you. It's done. And I never turned back from there. It was the greatest thing that I ever did.
And when did you guys start? That's beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
Love it. Clearly, you could tell that you guys are like very in love with each other.
Absolutely.
To this day. The way
I drive her
you're
crazy.
looking at her.
I drive her crazy.
So annoying.
Yeah, I drive her crazy.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break from the pod because if you are an artist or you manage artists, you already know getting music out fast and getting paid matters. That's why I tell people about DistroKid. DistroKid lets you upload unlimited songs to Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, Instagram, all the major platforms for one low annual fee. No per-release charges, no hidden cuts. You keep 100% of your earnings. And for managers, this is big. You can move fast, drop singles, test records, build momentum without waiting around or burning budget on distribution fees every time. They've also got tools that actually help you grow, like automatic splits so everyone gets paid correctly, hyperfollow pages to share your release links, and analytics that make sense. Bottom line, if you're serious about building artists the right way, DistroKid is a no-brainer. Go to distrokid.com and get your music live today. Link is in the description below. Now let's get back to the pod. Well, okay, so at what point do you both decide that you want to get in business together on the music side?
It was during COVID. So because I was doing, I was working with physicians, that's when everything closed because of COVID. And he was doing a lot, of course, was already in management and all that good stuff. And he had some goals that he wanted to meet within the company. And I knew that if I took my skill set in scaling businesses and just implemented it into the music business, into our management company, that it would grow. And at the time, during COVID, he was doing some consulting work for other companies in the music business. And I saw like what they would hire him on for, like a lot of the creative, a lot of the A&R side. And I was like, okay, great. If we added some sauce of structure into this and built that out with a bunch of consistency and like real goals, then this thing could easily scale. So then we started an artist development company for independent artists that would come to us for basically everything that an artist needs in a manager, from, you know, of course, at first, like to make sure that they had like a safe place creatively to speak on what they want, their goals. And then from there, building out rollout structure, distribution connections, content pieces, introductions to like producers, writers, other artists, everything that a manager does essentially for an artist, right? Building the business. And we would teach artists how to build your business as an independent artist and how to remain independent if that's what you want it to be, or what the future could look like, you know, with some success and consistency with everything. So we built that and it scaled like very quickly. And
It blew up.
yeah, and it was amazing.
How come you think so? And two questions really. How come it blew up pretty fast? And then also, how long did it take you to understand all of these things? Because you're new in the business, right? So when you're talking about distribution, the role, the responsibilities of a manager, rollout, how long did it take you to understand that?
Pretty quickly, I think, because I am like naturally super competitive with myself.
Yeah.
And I am the type of person that like my biggest enemy is probably myself. And I'm like, okay, if I can just learn the foundation of what it takes, like I just want to win. And it's like, it's almost like, it's not that it's a game. Well, there's a little bit of that. It's like, you know, it's like pushing yourself. But obviously for me, like I said from the beginning, it was about finding the right artist. And in the beginning, when I decided to start in music, while developing the artist development program, I found a couple artists that I was like, they're amazing. These are the artists that I want to champion and be there to support and service and give myself and the world to them because I know that they're incredible. So yeah, I'd say I learned pretty quickly, of course, because I have incredible partners around me that walked me through this. Like Nael, of course, being one of them, super experienced on the management side. Like Lucas, learned so much from him. The same people I mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah. So you said he had some goals that he wanted to reach. What were those goals? And walk me through how you structured it in order to be able to attain those goals.
So I understood in the beginning, it took me a moment to like really sit down. I just did a lot of sitting and listening and trying to understand like the steps, like how do I piece everything together? It was a puzzle. How do I make it into a picture? And watching him like work with artists and understand that artists are very emotional. Artists need people around them that are confident, that will teach them, but like also be there to walk them through what they need, to provide them the resources they need. So we created a structured program that was like a month-by-month walkthrough of what it takes. And these are like super developing new artists. Like, what does it mean to release music? What does it mean to work on songs? Like, how do I get connected with producers? You know, and I think a lot of the time I've learned that, again, I'm still learning. I've only been doing this for like 6 years or so. But I would say a lot of the time, I think people are scared to put themselves out there. Totally. And my biggest thing that I've like, there's no one that can tell me no. And there's no one that can close a door on me because I will literally just build my own door. And that's how I've always grown up. Like I've lived on my own since I was 17. Like I was a kid figuring it out, like financially, funded my own college. Like I've kind of figured it out by just like being this like strong, independent woman. And I think like a lot of the time for me, I've noticed is like, people are just scared and they need that confidence and they need that push.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a big part of what we created in this program is like pushing artists to be comfortable, but also to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And what that means, like building the strategy and the structure and like really like being consistent. Like I think people need to learn, like I love teaching people how to become more athletes in the music business because I realize like that's a big part of it. Like you are an amazing artist, you have an amazing voice, but the lack of like dedication to understanding that you can put yourself out there and fail 100 times and then you won at 101 and like no one is gonna see that you failed 100 times.
Exactly.
Like that's, I think, like a really valuable thing because I know that for artists, like it is embarrassing sometimes thinking like, oh my God, I got to promote myself. And like, but someone already saw me in this type of room or this outfit or whatever it is, but no one cares.
Yeah. No. No, and I use the analogy a lot when it comes to content because a lot of that, like especially now, you have to be that kind of triathlon athlete.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not a sprint, it's not a marathon, it's a triathlon. You got to be a great recording artist, you got to be a great performer, and you got to be a great content creator. I don't care who you are in this day and age, you got to understand the game of content digital. But the analogy I use is like, yeah, you could post something like, who cares? You post it like 7 times, and if it gets 50 views, the only thing that you know in that moment is that nobody saw it.
Yeah.
So who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Post again. And
Right.
that's how, and then when I say that, it kind of starts to click.
Yes.
You know, it's just like, nobody saw it. That's all that means, right?
Yeah.
So just post again. Because then when you're giving yourself as many chances as you can to potentially succeed.
Yep.
Right? And so that's an important piece to it.
Yeah.
To give her more praise, I mean, like, it was, I think all managers, you know this, like we have an ability to identify someone's potential. And what makes a great manager is the ability to delegate duties to others. And so I've never been a pay me manager. Where's my money? Invoice. Hey, where are you paying me? So I begged her for years to be part of my business because I knew that she was so, and I say this respectfully, but like cold in the sense of like how to run a business, that she would not be emotional. So what she was touching on was, and I can say this for her, is that she doesn't give a shit about the politics. So
Right.
she was able to walk into the business.
That's such a great
And you and I
skill.
live by the politics. Our industry kind of is dictated by the politics because we're so industry.
I guess that's what I was trying to explain in the earlier.
No, it's clear, but it's clear. Like
Yeah.
there's like you bring a lot of everybody can use an Alyce in their business, in the music business.
Yes.
Like every single artist, every single management company, because a lot of us get together because we're creatives and we love this shit. But then there's like, that's great. And it can go very fucking far.
Yes, of course.
But it can't go all the way without somebody like yourself who can put all these pieces together and say, hey, this net 30 shit, like it's day 31. Where the fuck is the money? And it's, I'm to be honest with you, I've never been good at that. Thank goodness I have a great team now handling all that stuff.
Yes.
Like the best.
Yes.
Shout out to Dan, Jarrell,
There you
Karen.
go.
They're my
But that's
people.
the same thing, bro. I mean, that's what I identified.
Especially Karen. So this
Shout
lady.
out to Karen.
Shout out Karen. This lady is like, she is absolutely transformed the way that my business operates. She don't play.
Yeah.
And it's constantly, we're constantly on the phone, you know, just figuring out structure, making sure that this admin is being handled once a month. We're tapping in, here's the P&L, like, so important. And it's just like, yo, and because she'll hit me and she'll be like, yo, so like, these vendors in the music business, they all trash?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. She's like, damn.
And it's funny because I grew up as a child, like, being so.
And I'm thankful for that. So I'm thankful for folks like you in this business.
Oh, God, bro.
And
I mean,
I enjoy it. It's not like it's not, for me, it's like a very fun thing.
Yeah, and we don't.
Yeah, you guys don't. So basically our dynamic, which everyone always asks, what's the dynamic? How does this work, right? Well, it works because of many things. One, I believe you can have it all. I believe in the music business, you can have a husband who supports you, whether you're in it or not together. You can have a family. You could be successful. Because again, it's like I guess being new in the business, in it for 6 years, is I've heard like, you can't have a relationship. You can't do this. Like, it's really hard.
Right.
And of course it is. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. We want to rip our heads off, like each other's heads often. But we always ground ourselves because there's so much love. Like, we started our relationship based off of a friendship, which I always say is one of the most important things, is starting a relationship from a friendship that then grew into what it is now. He fully supports me, fully respects me. That was also a big one. But the big thing is like, he's the art, like he's a creative,
He's
right?
creative at heart.
He's the creative at heart. Yeah. And I'm like way more type A in the structure, where I lean on his creative and then I put it to life because I know what it takes to put it to life. And I'm like, I'm going to go until I meet the goals. And I've always put these massive goals on myself. And so then it extended into the business when I joined him at doing grass-fed music, right? So I'd say like that for us is why it works, because we're not like here in competition with each other. We're here to support each other. We're like genuinely like a team, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I just knew too. It's like that. You just have to have that gut instinct about people. You have to know that someone has an ability. So I told myself when I met her, she will work with me one day. It took me 5 years of begging her every day, being like, please, let's work together. Let's work together. I need you to help me because I don't care about money. Money doesn't drive me. I'll never bug my clients about money they owe me. I just want to make a shift in culture. I only want to represent people that make people feel something. Otherwise, I'm not interested. So when the pandemic hit and she lost her job and I lost a ton of touring, hundreds of thousands of dollars in touring. At the time, I was partners with Sal. And we had a weekend tour and all this stuff fell off, right? So you could...
At the same time.
Yeah,
we had Billie Eilish, North America, Europe.
We had that too.
Right.
We had
We had Billie Eilish.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had that too. We were on the same
But
tour.
we fall off on it. She
Yeah.
took us off that, because of the pandemic, because of all the things that happened.
Right. So we had that. And then we had headlining North America and Europe. We have 4 tours in 6 months.
Same.
Which I look back now, I was like, that would have been a grind.
Yeah, it would have been a grind.
Go ahead.
But I lost a ton of money and my back was against the wall. And fortunately, we've been smart with business and money that we're like, you know what? We're good. We have finances. We'll live off of it. But I immediately said to myself, I'm a motherfucking artist whisperer. I know how to develop artists. I know how to get in their ears. I know how to say what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, what they need to hear. But I don't believe in every single artist as if I would dedicate my life to them. Doesn't mean I can't help them. So that's when we started what we called artist services. And the idea was, how do you offer a service to a developing artist without being their manager? Well, you could pay me monthly and I could build a team around you. And every artist I spoke to was like, yes. And I was like, oh, Alyce, I'm sorry, but there's 6 artists who want to move forward. I was like, we have a business now. I knew that there was a massive business to be built there while the music business came back to life. And I didn't know it was going to take so long. And so, we made a ton of money in the 3 years and we able to hire a ton of employees and built out another business. But the reality was, and you know this very well, there will always be artists that are ready to invest in their careers, even if they're not musically or creatively ready yet.
Right.
And so we saw that opportunity and we tried to build something that was like, this is a version of management, but you pay for it. While at the same time, maintaining our very growing, successful management company. And I said to her, I was like, you are going to be able to take what I've done and take it to the next level because I'm never going to chase up this client for money. Because I only want to focus on making an impact in culture. So she was like, well, you don't even have a website. You don't even have a proper business name. You don't even have proper this. And I was like, well, done. Do all that. It's on you. Handle whatever you want. And when I first met her, I even said, I don't care about money. Put the money in your account. Handle everything. I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to do something so incredible. I'll pay myself a salary just so I can survive. You take care of everything else because I trust you with my life. And the reality was, I think why we work so well together is that, well, first and foremost, I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I love her. I love her emotionally. I love her physically. I love everything about her. I still want to be with her all the time. I always want to be with her, touch her, kiss her. No, but that's really what it's about. And if you don't love someone, you know this as a manager, you can't do shit for them. You have to love them. It doesn't matter how much money they make for you. Eventually you'll resent them. Eventually you want to work with them. So I said, I can work with her forever as long as when I see her, I see my wife. I see the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, that I know that's got my back. But I knew one day she would discover a client, or I would discover a client that she would then transcend into where I am, is that you believe in an artist that you think can take your life to the next level. So when I discovered our premier DJ, when I discovered him, his name is AB, I had to beg her to work with him. No. She did not want to work with him.
Well, no, it's not that I didn't want to work with him.
It's a beautiful story.
Let's just make sure we're saying it correctly. It's like, we didn't want to take on more clients, so I wasn't ready to meet him because we had a lot of clients.
This is what the creators come up against. It's like, I love this creative, and you're like, but hold on, the structure is not allowed.
All day long.
There's gonna be leaks everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, that is all day long. Just like, wait, hold on. Let's slow it down.
So for clarity, is like, you're like, you love this artist, but there's shit happening.
Well, she didn't know anything about
him. I didn't even meet him yet. Yeah, I didn't know his name. I didn't listen to the music. He just basically said, hey, there's an artist I met. He's amazing. He's the next thing. He's on his way here to meet us for management. And I was like, hold on. We're not meeting anyone. Like,
I'm not taking on another client.
Okay, so from there, keep going.
Yeah, and I was like, no. Trust me, my gut instinct, this guy is it. He has it. You have to meet him. And it took a minute. And it's funny how we got to the point of working with him, a friend of ours who's also Palestinian.
Wait, sorry. Let me cut you off.
Yeah.
Well, when that happens, how do you separate the business partner and the husband and wife? Because those things can get tense, right?
Yeah, I don't think there is a separation. I think that you try, and I think it's almost like a per conversation type of thing. But also, like, we're both Aries and we're both like Middle Eastern, and we're both managers. And
fight one day,
yeah,
love.
Yeah.
Fight 1 hour, love the other.
It's literally that. So I don't think it's a good question, because I also try to like get better at that with being like, okay, wait, we're talking as business and we're not talking as husband and wife. But I don't know that there is a very clear separation.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break from the pod, because if you're an artist, producer, or songwriter, you could be leaving serious money on the table. Every time your songs are streamed, viewed, or played online, it generates publishing royalties. But collecting these royalties globally means registering with over 100 societies around the world. Many artists never see that money. Cosign fixes that. Powered by Cobalt, the publisher behind Max Martin, Stevie Nicks, and Childish Gambino, Cosign registers your songs globally with a single submission, collects every cent you're owed, and even has direct deals with streaming platforms to cut out middlemen wherever possible to help you keep more of what you've earned. And unlike traditional publishers, Cosign is built for flexibility with no long-term commitments. Now, Cosign is a selective platform, but it's easy to apply, and the application is 100% free. If you're ready to start collecting your global publishing royalties, apply today at the link in our video and episode description. And to learn more about how music publishing actually works, check out the TMP Publishing Playbook in partnership with Cosign across TMP's YouTube and socials. Now let's get back to the pod.
I think one of the things is that I've always remained steadfast on, I am in love with this woman. I love this woman. So whatever she wants, she can have. Because at the end of the night, this is the mother of my children. This is a person that is technically better at business than me. I just have more experience in the sense of like art and what I believe in and the gut to believe in something. But I knew that she got my back. So I was like, whatever she wants, have. When the second she said, I got DJ Habibeats, he's my client, I was like, yes. He's gonna blow up, because she's gonna go crazy for him. And every artist from that point on just fell in love with her. They just fell head over heels for her. And because she really goes to the limits for them. But I knew that I had to remain steadfast on, one, my relationship with my wife, but also remaining a person that just believes in something. And if I was having to believe in you and be your day-to-day and be your admin, we would hit a wall. We need a partnership to get there.
Yeah.
So I knew that working with her was going to be the smartest thing I ever did. Same thing with working with Sal, because he's such an absolute kind of visionary that I needed to remain the day-to-day so he could do his job really well. I needed to remain that I'm the man of service, bro. Whatever you need me to do, tell me and I'll do it. But when it came to the hard stuff, I learned tremendous from him.
And we're talking about Sal from XO.
Yeah, Sal from XO.
Sal and Co.
Sal and Co. One of the greatest managers of all time.
Shout out to Sal.
Shout out to Sal. Shout out to Manny. Shout out to the entire team.
Yeah.
And I learned so much from them. Shout out to Belly. And they managed my brother for 7 years. So it was like incredible partnership. And to this day, I've learned from him about delegating, about believing in others, about letting people do what they do best. And to this day, I'd say she's not only growing every day as now a full-on manager, but running a business exceptionally well. It's just me and her. We don't have staff. We don't have employees. We do everything ourselves. And it's amazing. It's beautiful.
You don't have employees, contractors?
Yeah. Like we work with, like we have a manager in Toronto named Michael. And then we have shout out Michael. And we have tour managers that we work with. Like when Habibeats goes to India or Australia, we work with a gentleman named Manny. Shout out to Manny. And so, we have partners for sure.
A couple questions on that. That's amazing. The foresight to see an artist, fall in love and understand the potential, and then also the structure of, let's slow this down, meet the person, take the ego out of it and be like, no, you're right, this makes sense, but let's figure out how to build this properly.
Yeah.
What is it about Habi that you identified that was great? But before you answer that, Sal is one of those premier managers, manages the weekend. He's been a staple in Canadian music business for damn near
sure.
30 years, but like on a global scale for 2 decades at this point. What is it that you observed from him that makes him so amazing at this role that he has for so many years?
I mean, again, shout out to Sal and the entire team.
Yeah.
Hands down, the absolute one of the greatest managers I've ever had a chance to work with. One of the greatest mentorships I've ever had a chance. Not just Sal, Manny, everyone on the Sal & Co team. Wonderful. I think their ability to give a shit and care about the artist and their personal life is what makes them separate from everyone else. Period.
Yeah.
And it's what has set me up as a manager. If I like you and love you, I don't care about anything else. First, let's like each other.
Fearless too.
Yes, let's care about each other. And I think he taught me that. And he was incredible at being responsive. It could be from, oh, I gained 1 follower, great job, to, oh, I'm trying to work on this difficult thing. He's like, call me. Very available, always there for the client. Always available. And
It was never a problem getting a hold of him.
Never, to this day.
Very rare for me to like reach out to him because I respected his time. But when I would pick up, it'd be a text, he'd call me.
Yeah.
They have a special place in our hearts.
What I really appreciate about Sal is like very to the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way we came together was through my brother Nasri, and it was beautiful. Shout out to Manny, one of my closest,
Manny's
peers.
Shit too, yeah.
Yeah, one of my closest peers in the music business.
I haven't seen Manny in years, but yeah.
But he was the one that really like kind of opened the door for me with Nasri. And then Mazzari, also Canadian legend, shout out to Mazzari, was also one that opened the door for my brother in the Arab world. So all of them were just so generous with their time. But really, I'd say what it comes down to, what I learned from him, is you have to love the people you work with. So what I tell every manager, every young artist, every young person, now what do? I'm trying to get these clients. I'm trying to get this artist to work. Dude, do you like your client? Do you like them? Do you care about them? If they told you they're broke, would you pay for their rent?
Fucking real.
And that's who I am, bro. We have a client named Ethan in the UK. I met him during the pandemic. I paid his rent for a year. I never met him in person. But I loved him. And I knew there was something about him that was powerful. So I said, bro, I'll pay your rent because I know you're going to be fine. And then now he's crushing it and he's killing it and he built a wonderful business. So how I move forward is with my heart, bro. And it's probably a dumb thing. I'm probably the dumbest manager because I only take on people that I feel like I care about them emotionally, that I think about them, that I go to bed thinking about them. That's how I've taken on every client from DJ Habibeats to, in the past, Sabrina. It's all about loving them and caring about them. And then the hard part, will come naturally. The business, the deals, the labels, and people feel that. When you're sitting in a room with a label, they know you care about this artist.
Yeah, they do.
When you're sitting in a room with a publisher, they know you care about this artist. Now, thank God I had Sal to be like, not only do I care about them, but my big brother here knows how to do the business and knows how to do the deals. And so he taught me that side, how to delegate, how to look at something. But also, I had mentors like even someone like a Mike Karen who made me realize that one of the more important values as a manager or as a creative is to tell the artist that the art is the most important thing. The song is the most important thing. Your song didn't do well. Is it the playlist? Is it you and me? Is it the manager or is it the song? And the artists who think it's the song are the ones who transcend. The artists who go, nah, I got to make a better record. Those are the ones that I think change the game. So I'm just a firm believer coming from a hit background with my brother Nasri and Adam Messenger that good is good, bad is bad. And if we focus on good and obsess over good and accept that it's the song's fault, eventually it will come through. So that's what I think like I've learned from all these incredible mentors. I for a short period of time, worked for Scooter Braun. And working for him was incredible because it would be 2 a.m. and he'd FaceTime an artist just to get them to agree to something. And I was like, that's tenacious. He knows they're going to answer, but he knows they're going to be vulnerable at 2 a.m. And that was something that I thought was powerful. And he had an amazing ability to also delegate. I trust people immediately. It's probably my biggest downfall as a manager. If I meet you, I immediately trust you. Let's go. What do we got to do? No problem. No paperwork.
I feel like I'm looking in the mirror right now.
Yeah, well, that's why, that's what it's about.
Everything you're saying is...
And then I'm like, hold up.
But I'll tell you how we got full circle.
So like aligned
and how it connects, my bro, like to her and how we ended up with DJ Habibeats because I went with a good friend of
Love
mine.
of my life.
Yes, I went with a good friend of mine. He had a show called At the Avalon, and it was called Habibeats House. And I brought a good friend of mine, shout out to him, my best friend, I love him to death, Oren Yoel, one of the most amazing producers, such a talented human being. But I knew if anyone would be super honest with me about this client, about this artist, it would be him. He'd tell me it's good or bad, trash or not trash. And we went in, and within 15 minutes, because he's from Cali, he's like, fool, you don't fucking manage this guy? You're an idiot. And then I was like, really? He's like, fool, I'm telling you, you better work with this guy. And I was like, done. And I was like, I didn't even have to think twice from that point. Then my hard job was begging her to get involved. Because at the point, I'm focusing on, building the culture.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him.
Right.
So I had to beg her and beg her and beg her. And then eventually, when she met him, I remember she sent me a text. She's like, I got it. I'm handling from this point on. I was like, yes.
What was it about it?
Okay, so I am first generation Arab, right?
Yeah.
So Palestinian American, to be specific. And basically, Habibeats, DJ Habibeats, the party called Habibi's House, what he does is he modernizes traditional Middle Eastern music into a very traditional nightclub setting, which has never ever happened. So the way that he mixed these like hits that we grew up listening to in the car with our parents, that we were like, oh, mom, again, Nancy Ajram, like, I don't want to hear this. Like, this is like the stuff that my mom and dad would listen to. Like, we grew up listening to it. And of course, being first generation, like in America, you kind of like fantasize over like the American dream, right? So you're like, you kind of push away a little bit growing up the culture, like your Middle Eastern culture. You're like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to just listen to pop music or whatever it was that I was listening. Avril Lavigne at the time, System of a Down, whatever it was that I was listening to.
Me too. I
That's
just saw System of a Down in Toronto last year.
That's sick.
First time, and it was lit.
That's sick.
So sick. Sorry,
Yeah,
sidebar.
they're amazing. They are amazing.
They're the best.
Yeah, that was my shit. So like I never like listened to Middle Eastern music, but it was always in me, right? So when I heard what he did, he came to our house. It was like a really cool story. So he came over after I was like, no, I don't want anybody to come over. He comes over. And we had just bought our house, so there was no furniture, nothing. I literally had a stool and we were all sitting on the floor. He plugged in the phone, started playing the music, and he did a remix for a song called Ya Tab Tab, which is like a massive song from the Middle East, like all over the world, but definitely obviously the Middle East. And as like a first generation, it kind of just like hit me in a way where I was like, no fucking way is this real. Like, this has never been done before. This is like unreal. And I had actually just come off of a tour with Julia and Kygo, and I've always loved like electronic music. Mm-hmm. And I've always, just as a listener. So when I put all of the worlds together, I was like, let's fucking go. Like 100%, this is it. And then I didn't know anything. I didn't know he had social media following. I didn't know he was selling out shows. I didn't know any of that. I fell in love with everything from the music before I understood all that. A couple weeks come by and then I see all that and I'm like, okay, great. We have a foundation. Then my brain starts going boop, 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 boop. How do we build this into a real business? How do we expand? Bring in like the booking agents and the lawyers and obviously the people that we started to build a team. And from there, it just like exploded into what it is now. And he makes it easy. Like, first and foremost, like, shout out to DJ Habibeats. And second, like, he's just like an amazing person.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a little break because if you're listening and thinking, fuck, I could really use some guidance right now, and you're serious about building your career in the music industry, I'm now offering private strategy sessions. These are fully personalized, just you and me tackling whatever you need in your career. With over 16 years of experience working with artists, managers, and brands, I can help you map out your next moves. Now, whether that's structuring your team, scaling your brand, navigating the industry, even figuring out what steps to take, whether to go to a distributor or to a record label and figuring out what are the best deal points, I can help you with your career with where you're at. You can now book a one-on-one with me through my Calendly, and you can find the link in the description. Now let's get back to the pod.
What are the personality traits that makes it easy for you to work with him?
Oh, God,
I feel like he makes me a better person.
Okay.
Which is crazy because I feel like okay, so first and foremost, we're about the same age. We're both the first children of the family, the eldest child. Oh. So we have a lot in common. He feels like a cousin, like he feels like family. I love him like as a person, and his personality. Like he also is a lawyer. So prior to him popping off as a DJ. So he's very smart. And there is this little competitive nature between us, but it's very playful. And we support each other so much. So it's always like, you know, like, you got this, I got this. And it's almost like, I don't know if the Power Rangers is a good reference, but it's like,
we'll use it.
We'll use it.
You and Jason and Tommy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Red Ranger, Green Ranger type?
Yeah. And like, it's been only 3 years, and everything that we've done, like, as a team, like, I mean, in a couple days, we have our biggest LA show ever, which is at the Shrine.
Sold out.
He sold it out a couple weeks early. You know, he just did Coachella. Like, a big part of me, of why I am so devoted to this too, is like, we really are pushing culture, things that have like never, ever been done before. And it's
always been the goal.
It's always been a goal. And it's just amazing to see that it's actually like coming to life. Cause I remember like growing up, like reggaeton was like amazing. Like when that shit came out, we were all like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then what, K-pop comes along and everyone's like, whoa, K-pop, what is this? And now it's like the time for Middle Eastern music or global dance music, which is what we're seeing now. And for us as a management company, I always say we're small, but we're quite mighty, because we put like everything, it's like very mom and pop, right? Like it literally is mom and pop. And, you know, so yeah.
Shout out to Mom and Pop, also great company.
It's a great company. Yeah. Been around for a minute. Yeah.
I'd say too, I mean, like, I'm a firm believer in God, and I'm very faithful, and I'm always kind of like, every day I start my day off with listing who I'm grateful for, what I'm grateful for, and shout it out the top of my lungs. I do a thing called incantations, where I scream like things to make myself confident, because, you know, I'm just like a guy who deals with demons as a manager, so I'm always trying to get myself out of that. And one of the things that I just love about Alyce is she's just like a ball of confidence, just fearless with everything. Even when I have the hardest moment, she's like, that's absolutely nothing. We'll get right past that.
Like what?
It could be like losing a huge client. It could be my father passing away 3 years ago.
Well,
it could
I would
be,
not say that.
I know, but I mean, she's a rock at the most difficult times. You know, she has no fear in, hey, I looped you in on an email. She's like, I got it from this point on. She doesn't even know what it is. She's like, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. 80 emails later, she's handled everything, and I just was the first email. You know, she's handles not just our family, our children, our 2 beautiful girls, but she handles our entire business. She handles all the children stuff. She was putting together camp things for the kids prior to this. And it's not because I'm like, you need to do that. She's like, I got it, because she's an absolute monster. And again, God was so gracious when he was like, let me bring you a client that will give you the joy that I've had for 10 years, you know? And when I had that, I was like, now I know she's in for life. Now that she's got the joy, the feeling, you understand that, the emotional feeling, the impact that you make when you say, oh, I represent Nasri Atweh, you know, that we part of a song named Rude, or I represent this DJ that's turning the entire Middle Eastern diaspora into a party. That's a moment that I was like, I knew she's gonna now be in with me for life. And if I have her in, there's nothing I need to worry about. I can accomplish anything. I can knock over walls. I can, you know, make millions of dollars if she's by my side. If she's not by my side, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. So believing in people, man, it's everything. It's really everything.
Where do the strengths complement each other here?
I mean, I can go, my strength is extremely creative. So I'm always about like art, where I'm not administrative or like all about business development. So I never get in her way on that. Everything that has to do with scaling the business, figuring out the finances, you know, building the new relationships with like complicated people in the industry, she really handles that. But I'm the one that's able to have the foresight to say, oh, this song isn't good.
Also, the education, I'd say like him educating me on certain things that I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. Like, why do we need to do it like this? Or like, why can't we just do it like that? And he's like, well, this is how it is, you know, like in the music business. This is what it is. And I'm like, okay.
None of it makes sense. All that. Well, yeah, I mean, like anybody who's outside the music business comes into this business with like, yo, this is all nonsense.
Yeah.
Because in the real world, this will never fly.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I get on a high when she asks me for advice on something. I'm like, oh, yes, let me give you my insight. Because I remember working with Sal, like he was always there to give you the advice that you didn't want to hear that was going to help you. Something harsh, something that was like, it doesn't work that way. you know, it does work that way. You have to work with someone that you love, that you fuck with, that you think you can like transcend together, but also remain like happy with each other if you had nothing. So to me, if everything fell apart and it was just her and I, we'd be just fine because we've set ourselves up to be fine. And I have never lost an ounce of obsession towards her. So it's actually increased.
Clearly.
No, genuinely, bro. But that's what it's about. It would not work if it was any other way. It would not work if I was like, business, babe, business, business, business. No, it has to be about other things too. So that's where our strengths come in. It's like I focus on the art, the creative. She focuses on the client, the business, the structure. And together we're able to like dominate.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I also would say like he's always just like, you need to stop working.
Yes.
And I think I don't know that I have the right balance. And I don't know, I'm curious your thoughts on that. You've been doing this for obviously amazing, just like the both of you have been doing it for quite some time. But I just don't feel like, is there really a balance? I don't know.
No, I don't believe in that, to be honest with you. I think balance is different for every single individual. And I think it really just comes down to where do you feel most aligned? And if that does mean that you have to work, you work 10, 11, 12 hours a day, but you still can operate at a high level, like can you function as a human being outside of work? Great. I think like that's kind of how it is, you know, and then, you know, but you have children and you have a partner here, right? In business, so like balance is, I think it's kind of made up, to be honest with you. It's just more so like, these things have to be taken care of. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you're going to put all of this energy into this one thing, let's call it the music business. Yeah. Can I, maybe not the same hours, you know, but can I put at least the same energy into my husband or my wife, right? Yeah. As I do in the music business? Does it still fulfill me? Does it make me, does it enrich me? That to me then starts to feel like balance. It's not about the hours. That's how I think about it. Because people will say I work really hard, and I feel like I haven't worked a day in my life.
I know, because we love what we do.
Most days, yeah, because we love what we do. Most days, because if you really like, I look at my father. He's older now. He's 82 years old in Colombia. Beautiful. But he worked very blue collar. Worked in a factory, tons of jobs when I was growing up. But you know, by the time I hit like I think 14 to 25, he gets settled down in like this one job. That motherfucker worked. And because he did the thing to just put a roof over my head and put food on the table, take care of me and my mother. And my mom worked as well too. They worked job. My mom's, you know, just cleaning houses. Yeah. Same. My dad worked in a factory, 8 hours in a line. It's just the same repetitive thing. That to me is work. Because that's shit that nobody wants to do, but you do it to take care of your family. Yeah. And I look at that as like, man, that's hard work. What I do, fortunately, because of them, I can follow these dreams because I felt safe enough to be able to follow these dreams and do this, right? Although for a long time, they're like, I don't know what you keep doing in front of this computer with these cameras. Doesn't seem like it's gonna make any fucking money. I'm sure you guys can understand having Arab parents. Like, they're like, what is this music shit? This isn't like entertainment film forever. My mom still asks me when I fly places, she's like, so do you pay for the flight? I'm like, no, the client pays. And be like, Mom was like, okay. And then like her, you know, her friends will ask, so like, what does your son do? I don't know. Un podcast ya. Un podcast. He's manager. You know, like, he's manager. It's some manager. Yeah. You know,
That's hilarious.
But they don't know until like they start to see, you know, the artist that you manage on TV or stuff, then
that's when it clicks.
It's all clicks for them, right?
My parents have not once been to anything that I've done. On Friday, they will.
Oh, really?
Well, my dad will come on Friday, and that will be probably his first time like seeing and understanding it. Like I talk to him about everything I do all the time, and like I think he gets it, but he also very much doesn't.
Old school?
Yeah, very old school. Yeah. So, but my parents have been like, you know, they know like they know obviously who I am, so they never have any fears about it because they're like, oh, she's got it. Like
her parents are exceptional human beings too.
Yeah,
they're very rare. Like her mom picked up in her late 50s learning how to run an entire CNC machine, while prior to that was like a stay-at-home wife. And then out of nowhere,
like raised us.
It raised everyone, wonderful woman. And then out of nowhere, she's like, I'll learn how to run a CNC machine. Her father is like he can light up any room. Like walk into any room. That's why she got it from her dad and her mom. Like the education from her mom and the ability to make an entire room be affected by you. Her father, anywhere he goes, doesn't matter where he is. I used to bring him
He just taught me like I would say like not having fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad.
Yeah.
I used to bring him to SoFi games. Sony ATV would hook me up for like tickets at the suites. And I would bring him because he loves football. I don't like football. And I'd bring him and everyone would just be obsessed with him. Everyone's like, what do you do? He's like, I work woodworking. He's like, and he's super successful, so tenacious, never gives up, is so positive, never, ever, ever says anything negative, always there to support
Some of
you.
the most competitive people out, from Toronto, big Arab community. I worked with a lot of Arabs in sales.
Oh yeah.
And that's
how I started.
And that's the kind of the
too.
thing as well. So all of us, we have this background in sales.
Yeah.
I did door knocking for like 5
So
years
did I.
off and on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that will build up thick skin because you're getting 99 no's, you're getting doors slammed on your face, sometimes threatened, people saying they're going to call the cops on you, but then you're going to go to that next door and be like, because that's a yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And also the word why not.
Why
right?
not? Exactly.
I love that word. Or
Me too.
why.
I used to get called out for saying why so much because because somebody in the business early on being very green, and I still do it to this day, but it was always kind of like, and we came into this business when it just started to become a thing that you didn't necessarily need a major record label.
Yeah.
But I caught wind of that early.
Yeah.
Our team did, right? And so when we came out here, it was a lot of like, but you need this for this, you need the label for this, you need that for that, and I always would just be like, but why?
Mm-hmm.
And then people would get thrown off by that. And then I became like the why guy. And I was just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to ask why. Because I don't know. And right now what you're telling me, it's not making sense. I remember having a conversation with somebody and they're telling me like, here's the reason why you want to sign. We have distribution. And I said, I have distribution too. It's called the internet. I don't know what we're talking about right now. And it was like, and that would like frustrate people because I also have this like, back in the day as well, I had this very like, bull in a china shop approach. I was very rough around the edges, and I've matured and grown and not as like that way anymore. But I just kind of just didn't accept those no's, in business, clearly. And that's just always been my approach. And I think there's also like the immigrant family thing as well. You get that from your folks.
Yeah.
And my dad is kind of like your dad. My dad was like, everybody loves my dad.
Yeah.
Charming human being. And it was so funny. I remember being at weddings and like, when I got older and start to drink a little bit and then I get to know my father a little and then everybody tells me about my dad when I'm out and be like, we love your dad, he's the best. But like, tell me the truth, he's a little crazy, right? I'm like, yeah. And my mom has the gift of gab as well, right? My dad is incredibly hardworking. And so, I don't know, and they always kind of, there is that thing about like a little bit with maybe you guys would know this, but from Colombian culture or Latin culture, is a little bit of fear with the older generation of like, hey, just play your position. You don't want to rub, you don't want to. And I don't know where I learned it from. I don't know if it was from my folks or not. Maybe it was sales where I was just like, nah, I think I'm going to push. And that's just kind of been the way that I deal with things.
I mean, that's my ethos. I mean, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to piggyback off of the father thing. I think also like probably similar to your experience or your parents' experience. Like my dad came here with the same story you've probably heard from most immigrant is like he came with nothing, like $300, you know, and brought a wife with him and started a family like in America, had no family because we have no one out here. So like he decided to change everything up and worked so hard and still work so hard. But I think for me, like something I grew up seeing and inspired by, because growing up, I always wanted to be part of my dad's business. I was like, Dad, let me work for you. And he was like, no, you can't do it. So I think that also taught me to like, be like, let's push. Like I was always the one that asked all the questions, which they say the smartest people are like, not to say that I'm the smartest person, I'm just meaning like they say smart people ask a lot of questions, right? And that was something growing up, I think like especially in school, they teach you to kind of be more quiet. Like the teacher likes you if you're not the kid that's asking all these questions. But I always wanted to understand it. I was like, why or what or why are we saying no or why is this the way it is? And my dad was always the type of person that would be like, there's no such thing as no. you live in America. Like, you can create what you want. Like, that's what you come here for, is like the land to create what you want. Always be a good person, always give back, always, you know, keep your ears and eyes open, but like, don't ever settle because something says
Real
this.
shit.
Yeah, right? Like, push through, like, build your story. And yeah, I think that's a big part of why coming into this, just to circle back into the music business, we
don't have to, but we can.
But I mean, like,
I guess this is a part about the music business. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't fully understand still this day. Of why
I don't either.
Things,
I like things. Yeah. Let's talk about some of them then.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the beautiful things, like segueing into fathers, my father passed away like almost 3 years ago.
My condolences.
Thank you, bro. And like, my dad was delusionally positive.
Yeah.
He was delusionally optimistic without having a clue of what you were doing.
Yeah.
He would, every day, he would call me like once every 2 weeks, be like, Baba, this year is your year.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Baba, you said that last year. I'm making no money. I'm literally struggling. No. This year, shut up. This year is your year. No, Bob, it's not. Okay, don't call me again then. He's like, because if you don't believe that this is your year, it's not going to be your year. And I was like, oh, fuck, I think you're right. You're right, Bob. This year is my year. And he passed away before I was able to show him what I was doing. To say that like we're working with a Palestinian that is transcending culture would have been the most proudest thing, because my dad was the dad would always say, no, don't say you're from Nazareth, say you're Palestinian. Don't have to shy away from that. And when I grew up in Toronto around Armenians, they taught me this crazy lesson. I remember one time, they're like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Nazareth. And then one of them said, Nazareth, but where are you from, bro? Like, what are you talking about? And then he grabbed me by my shirt, he threw him against the wall, he goes, you're Palestinian, bro. You say you're Palestinian. Okay, you're from Nazareth, but you're Palestinian. Don't be scared of that.
That's what's up.
I love that. And I was like, okay, I am who I fucking am. I'm like, I am not gonna back off from who I am, because who I am is what makes me. And my father really installed that confidence. Like, okay, it's not this year, it's not next year, but it's eventual. It's inevitable. It's happening. And I just locked in on that. And my brother was already like that. I mean, absolute delusionally confident. My brother is like, bro, there is nothing I'm not gonna accomplish. I remember one time I called him and I said, bro, I'm so sorry. Like 80 of your songs leaked online, pre-written songs, recorded. This is when he was killing it with Bieber and everyone. He's like, I don't give a shit. I'll write 80 more. And I was like, what do you mean, bro? 80 of your songs? He's like, I don't care. I will beat every 80 song.
Wow.
And he did it. Yeah. Not one of those songs came close to anything he wrote past that.
Wow.
And I knew from that day, I was like, it's about being tenacious. It's about accepting the challenge that you have to make things better. And that's what I think separates most managers in this business, most artists in this business. Who in this room thinks they can make something better? And whoever does will succeed. Whoever doesn't will get by. And I've told this to her, and I've told this to everyone I've met with lately. I have no interest in getting by. Either we're absolutely going to the fucking moon or nothing. I am not trying to make it in this business. I want to crush it in this business. I want to change lives. I want to break superstars. I have no interest in making a living.
That's what's up.
Because it means nothing.
I'm hella motivated, man.
I want people to fucking be impacted when they see my client. I want to go, your client changed lives. And I've been fortunate. I've worked with incredible artists who have changed people's lives.
Yeah.
And I've been a part of Grammys and Grammy nominations, but I feel like I'm just getting started. I say this all the time jokingly. I'm 42. I can't wait for 52. I can't wait for 62. I can't wait for 72. And 72, I'll be that guy that walks in the office that I own, and I go, back in my day, and when I leave, everyone makes fun of me, but I still own the company. And that's what I'm fucking looking forward towards. And I just want to figure out how to change artists' lives that I love and care about, and then impact people who I've never met before in my life. So if I go to Guatemala or Colombia or anyone, they go, what do you do? 3-4 sentences in, they're like, oh, love that song. Love that artist.
Yeah.
That's why we're in this business. Nothing else. It can't be about money, because we're dumb if it's about money. There's plenty of money everywhere else. But this business is about making an impact.
Yeah.
You know, we've been very fortunate financially and spiritually and emotionally. But most important, we both have this obsession that we want to make an impact.
What do you think or hear what do you think when you hear him like this?
It's a bit much.
I'm just like, I don't know. It's almost like a TV show. It's like a, it's like a energy. Like yes, yes, yes.
Is he like this on a regular?
Yes, all the time. It's very high energy all the time, and it's great. It's what keeps everything moving and super positive and exciting. And I am so happy to like be able to support him and to bring all this to life. You know, it's exciting to me. I get off on different things. Like I'm very much like, oh yes, we did this or we did that on the other side of the business. So it's not, I don't connect to always the same things.
Like
what? You know, like, I don't know. I think it's like exciting. Like I'll come to him and I'll be like, do you know who this person is? And he's like, this is only the most legendary person. And I'm like,
she's
oh,
like, I don't care.
I just spoke with him and yeah, we're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, like,
She didn't even know who she was talking to. I'm like, why didn't you include me in the call? This guy's so important. She's like, yeah, I only gave him like 5 minutes. I was like, damn.
so like one of our partners who now, but I'll tell you this, his Tom Windish.
I'm going to have him on the pod.
Oh yeah?
He's the best.
Yeah. So a funny story with him is like we connected over email, like, and I was pitching him my client to be like him be the agent. I didn't know okay, like shout out to Tom, but again, only been in the business for 6 years. So when I reached out to him, I had no idea who he was or like what he did or the capacity of what he's done. And obviously he's amazing, right? So I just sent an email. I was like, hey, like we should connect. Like, here's my number. And he's like, he sent me his number and I FaceTimed him.
Yeah.
And like didn't even like schedule. I just like FaceTimed him. He picked up and we like spoke. And I was like, yeah, this is about my client, this and that. And he's like, yeah, let's like, it wasn't like let's work in the moment. He's like, let's stay connected. And then he came to one of the shows and then we built a relationship. And obviously he also represents DJ Habibeats. So he is part of a very amazing story with him as well. But it was just like, I guess to me, it's like, my point is like, I never fantasized, if that's the word, about like the political side of things. Like
being in the business and like, of like amongst all of these individuals.
Yeah.
While I'm fangirling, being like, you spoke to Tom
so
Windish?
that's...
I was like, he's an absolute legend. Like he really believes in people. Like he has been doing this for a really long time. And I'm losing it. I'm like because I
haven't had an agent ever on here and he's going to be the first one that comes on.
Incredible.
He speaks very well, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
I just met him at Coachella last week and Chris Anakute, he introduced me.
Yeah.
Absolute visionary.
And we talked for a moment. Really cool. And yeah, I'm excited to have him on because he's very accomplished.
Nice.
But I would say like, that's why I like also not knowing.
Yeah.
Because I want to build something real with someone. And I think it's like amazing. Like everyone has their flowers and I know there's so many big people and I pray, I mean, you know, like I think highly of them and I respect them because it's the years of like grinding and the hard work. But I also don't want to go into it being like, oh my God, like this is who you are and this is what you can create for me. I want to create it together. Like I want to sit down and figure out like what it is that you do or what it is that we can do together and how can we build this to the next steps. And the thing about him that I really love is like he's in it for the long run. Like it's not like a quick win for him. Like he sees how long things can take and he'll walk you through that. Like when I met with him, he told me this, and this. And I was like, okay, we're seeing this, and this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That vision's powerful. And again,
because he's been through it over and over. It's like nothing's really new at this point with his type of experience.
Yeah. I just didn't know that it was just a...
You know, what's funny about what you just said there is like, you don't want, you not knowing that is almost like your superpower.
Yes.
I think one of the superpowers, quote unquote, that I might have in this business now, and I've learned this as time has gone. I mean, I kind of learned it probably early on in my career, is that I do know who all these people are. And I'm like, I do fangirl over the executive more than the artist. I've always kind of been like that, right? Just, you know, on the manager side.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm always actually just more interested in the human and the story. I think that's why this podcast kind of works. It's just like, I'm just really interested in individuals and their stories. And then, you know, and without naming the name, but I yesterday I had coffee, walked around a neighborhood for an hour or two with superstar executive. And I had no agenda. And I was just like, I'm like, I just want to, my only agenda actually, if I truly can say, was like, I just want to learn about you. I just want to know who you are, and like, yeah, would love to hear the story and your story from your perspective. And that was it. And so then as I'm speaking to this person and I'm asking questions and I want to hear what they're all about, you know, I'm realizing, like, and I do this all the time with people, is, okay, and I don't think like, what can I get? I always just think, how can I serve this person? Back to what you're saying. I'm like, well, how can I bring value to this individual? You know, and it's just kind of like always in the back of my head. It's like, where can I bring value? And if I can't bring value today, that's okay. At least we're cool with each other.
Yes.
You know, and then like call you up, and if I ever have any issues, maybe you can help me out through these issues. And if you ever need anything on my side, I got you. You know what I mean? But it's always that. It's just, how can you be of value? And it's this consistent thing that I talk about on this podcast. If anything, like it could be called the value playbook almost. You know what I mean? Like, that's how this thing operates in many ways. Yeah.
And you said a great thing where you said, like, no agenda. I would say, like, that is a great way to articulate what I was explaining, is like, I don't want to go into a relationship with someone because I have an agenda of what their history is or what they've created. Like, with the artists that I work on, like me as a manager, like with Habibeats, it's like tunnel vision. Like, what we've built has gotten us this far. So when I meet people, it's like, I want to be able to go into it with no agenda and like learn about you and like us.
Do we align?
Yeah.
Like, do I like you?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, mentally, are we on the same wavelength? You know, because you could be a superstar executive and you could be a piece of shit, or a superstar artist, be a piece of shit, and be like, you know, I know you're not like this and you aren't like this. It'd be like, some other folks would be like, maybe we can make it work because there's tens of millions of dollars here, you know? Yeah. And that is tempting sometimes, I'm not interested in that business. Which is great. So listen, I'm not somebody that, like, I have that fight every now and again with myself internally about the money. I used to back in the day. Like, now I'm just so, look, listen, if I was all about the money, I would not be doing this podcast and putting in the business. But I know that there's a path to it, right?
Well, you have a very empowering thing that you're doing, especially after I've taken, it's amazing. Especially, it's almost like an outlet for, also, I feel like managers can be the shadows, right?
Yes.
So there's also, if your client isn't giving you your flowers, where are you going to hear it from? So this podcast is a great way to give managers their flowers. Like, I thought of it as like, wow, now my client's Habibeats is amazing. He makes me feel like a queen. Like, he's always saying thank you. He makes me feel like a queen. I have amazing people around me. But there have been those clients in the past, or people that I work with, where I've seen that, like, in their own relationships. And it's hard because as managers, we give everything in ourselves. I don't ever stop working. It's not a 9 to 5. Like he said, we're always servicing our clients, and it's really hard.
Half those artists don't even know that, not to cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're not.
And it
it's
makes
fine.
you feel like you're not doing enough.
Anything.
You're not doing enough when it's like, managers, okay, again, forgive me if I'm incorrect to say this, but I imagine most managers make whatever, 20%, right? There's a reason why they make 20% and they're not making the 80% that the artist is making. Of course, there's other percentages given lawyers, business managers, and that. But I would say, you know, we are a huge part of the business. We're not everything, right? But again, we are the shadows at times. So there's like that battle of like, I do everything for this person and I still sometimes don't feel like it's enough.
Yeah.
But I think things like this, like your podcasts, are amazing because it is like a place where we can speak as managers and give advice to each other and be supportive and give each other our flowers, because it's a beautiful thing to have. So like, kudos to you. Like, it really is an amazing thing you've built.
Thank you. But I mean, this podcast doesn't work if there aren't incredibly successful and vulnerable individuals as well at the same time who come on and have these conversations and tell it the way that it is. It's very powerful what you just said. It's like, we do operate in the shadows. Half the time, managers don't get their flowers. There's always the inside joke where we say, like, when you're doing a good job, when nobody says thank you. I mean, when nobody's yelling at you.
But we need it, though.
Yeah.
One of the fastest way to fuel a manager is to tell them they're doing a great job. It's because that's our commodity. I mean, how many times have we taken on a client, got them a deal. I just made all my money, the advance. That's it. I got the 20 grand or whatever it is. I'm not making any money off you. The next 2 years is a grind. So the best thing you can do is give that love to the manager. AB, one his amazing ability is to constantly recognize you and say, you are doing amazing. I am so appreciative of you. Because I'm the type that's always going to tell the client how amazing they are because I know they need that.
Yeah.
But I don't just do it for them. I do it for me because I deal with demons, unfortunately, as a manager. I'm like hard on myself. I'm emotional. I get down.
All do. I think managers, the reason why we could service artists so well, and somebody told me this the other day, it was just like, yo, our self-worth is like, you fight with that a lot.
Yes. I cry over clients, dude. I get emotional. I cry over music. I mean, I grew up as a songwriter. So like music to me is like second nature. When I hear a song I love, I start to cry. When a client sends me a great song, I look photos of my father and try to remember him, to cry for him so that I can connect to this song more. It's what I did with one of my clients for years. Every time I'd go and watch this artist perform, I'd make sure to look at photos of my father to remember him and let the music tell the story for me. One of the things I've been doing the last 5 months has been the most empowering thing that I could possibly do is pour every ounce of myself into others. So like she said, I go and meet with others. Right before I walked into this podcast, I was meeting with one of my friends and I spent the whole time just telling him how great he is and telling him he's amazing. No, bro, you're killing it. Do not do this to yourself. Trust me as a person who does this for a living, you are doing amazing and you are a wonderful person. And I fucking love you, dude. And don't be hard on yourself because you're an absolute beast. But stop settling, go for the best, and we need to focus on hits, not focus on surviving. And then I've been doing that for 5 months straight. I'm literally paying for every meal, investing in people, and I have nothing I want from them other than I want to leave them with where my brain is at, where my heart is at. And you know very well, when the time comes and you need each other, you're the first person they pick up. You and I spoke 6-7 months ago, but when the time came, you remembered and you hit me up because I remained on course with where I was at mentally, with what I was trying to do with you, showing up at the right places, posting things that was showing that I'm in a good mental state. And I just think that pouring yourself into others is the best way to help yourself as a manager. It's to take care of, the way to take care of you is to take care of others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you just think it's about you all day long and about your mental health and like all that stuff, well, sometimes you need to pour that into others to remind you like where you're at. So I do that all the time. I'm like, I'm feeling down. I'm gonna go meet up with my boy right now and tell him how great he is and pour myself and not go to be, I'm a victim. Oh, woe is me. No, fuck that. You're not a victim. I'm not a victim. You're amazing. Let's do this. Look what we've done already.
Funny how that works.
And we've made it, right? You've made it. I've made it. She's made it. I tell my brother all the time, I'm like, bro, why do you work so hard? You've made it. But he's like, I just can't help it. I see songs and I don't know how to stop. I'm the type, and I learned this from Jerry Edward. Shout out to Jerry, one of the greatest managers of all time. My close friend has always been there for me. When I'm down, he just knows. He takes me, he lifts me up. And he was like, dude, you've made it, bro. Go for a walk at the beach right now. Go relax. And he taught me to do that. So she knows I'm extremely balanced. I wanted to circle back to that balance conversation. I'm the type that I have no problem not working today. I have no problem after this going to chill. It doesn't affect me at all. Because why? I want to take the time to discover the next artist that's going to change people's lives. But if I'm only thinking about how to make money every day, there's no way I'm transcending, and there's no way we're building a retirement for our children. It's impossible. So my brain all day long thinks about my kids, and then I will go, I'm going to go for a walk with my dog. I'm going to go call people I love. I'm going to go smoke a joint, whatever I have to do. And then when the time comes, my brain is just on 10,000. There's no chance of me losing this meeting or me not closing this deal or me not getting that artist across the finish line because I waited months to have this meeting with you. And that's how I do it. I waited months to have a meeting with Mike Karen on one of our clients. Yet years in my head, I knew that we were eventually going to meet specifically about this client, specifically about this one thing. And I did nothing else with him until like for 5 years straight, nothing else until we got to the point where we might work with this client now. And I think that's really important. Like, it takes time. I mean, I saw Dan Nigro do something the other day, and he was talking about, oh, you work with an artist, you do something great once, now do it 30 more times, and then you might get to a driver's license. And I think that...
Right, I saw that too.
And I think that was so powerful and empowering. I get goosebumps to this day thinking about people who want to make things better and are not willing to give up and are willing to be like, yo, let's not stop, man. We could do this. And that's one of the incredible things about Alyce. She doesn't have to... you don't have to fight to do that. You are that. You know what I mean? Like, I have to fight every day demons. She hears me in the shower every morning. I'm like, thank you, God, for Alyce. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you, God, for that. And I'm like, I'm a beast. I'm going to crush today. I'm a winner. Like Bruce Lee, you tell yourself the right things every day. She don't want to do none of that. She's already there.
You're already there.
She's already fucking there. She's like, I'm there. Thank God you're doing that, babe. Good for you. But I'm there. And I'm proud of that side of myself. I'm proud that I'm emotional, vulnerable. I'm proud that I have to do incantations. I mean, if you hear what I yell at myself every day, you would be like, you are insane.
What do you yell, man?
Something I learned from Tony Robbins, I mean, greatest motivational speaker of all time.
Yeah.
You can cut this out if you want to.
No.
But I say this every single day. I command my subconscious mind to tap into my unlimited strength that sits at the pit of my stomach. And as it rises up, it's going to unleash unlimited financial, physical, and emotional strength. Thank you, God, for that. And I smash on the table, and I say it like 4 or 5 more times. Then I start listing what I'm positive. Then watch me walk into a meeting and absolutely crush this meeting right now.
Fire.
I do that every single day. Not because I'm no, because I have demons. Because I am like seeing a post or seeing a video and I'm like, fuck, man. Oh, dude, no. And I'm like starting to get emotional and hating myself. And I'm like, no, I am not a victim. Get out of this right now.
Yeah.
And I put that exercise every single day. I even count down the days every day, like days. Today is day 317 of upgrading our lives for the better. Tomorrow will be 316. And I will not stop until it's day 1. And because I need that. I need to be that person because I want to affect people I see. Because I could teach them about the business. I know everything about the business. I know about the publishing. I know about the labels. Like you, I'm a fucking obsessed with the industry. I'm obsessed with every producer, Dr. Luke, Max Martin, Benny Blanco, every single credit on every pop song. I know the producer, I know the manager, I know the executive, I know the lawyer, but at the end of the day, none of that matters if I don't walk in with the right intention.
Yeah.
So the education is there, but the intention was not. So that's the place I'm at now. That's the place I'm most proud of. But she's already there. And the education comes organically. She just asks me and I tell her. And then she learns it and she's done. To me, it's like stuck on me. I'm emotional about it. I'm thinking about it. She's like, babe, I've already moved past that. What are you talking about right now? Let's go. We got to win. So, credit to her having that. And it's a beautiful blessing to have that balance together.
That's so. First of all, I love all of that, man. I mean, that's. Thank you for sharing all of that. To be honest with you, man, it's like very real shit. You know what I mean? And that's like a vulnerable side that I think a lot of people assume that if you're a manager, you're just very robotic and it's just very like this. But no, man, we're like there's a lot of managers in this who understand the creative side, who are emotional. Thank you for being real about it. I guess as real as it gets in terms of like the demons that you go through, One of the things that I deal with, and it's funny you're saying like taking a break. This weekend, it was like the first time I gave myself the permission to not do anything in a while. Because there would be times where I wouldn't do anything and the amount of guilt that I would have for that, even though I work so much, was crazy because there's always a to-do list.
Yeah.
And this weekend, I was just like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, I'm going to go and do whatever I'd like to do. And what I decide, I love movies. I love films. I ended up watching the trilogy of Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. I'm like, I'm watching this movie again because it's great. And why not? And I'm going to be okay with it. And it's like, and in that, I'm also getting to do other creative things and my mind starts to go in other places because movies give me imagination. And so then now I come back to work on Monday and I am like fueled and I'm like, oh yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I also consider myself, I know the business. I had to learn the business of film because I had a business partner, loved to death, still my brother to this day, Ray Mendoza, shout out him, and we built this company called Mad Rock Entertainment, but at one point he stepped away from it. I was a director. I consider myself a creative. And then I said, you know what, we have these other directors, he's stepping away from it to go pursue something else. I have to step up and I became a producer. I had to learn about production management. I had to learn about all these departments. Like I had to learn how to balance the budget. That wasn't my thing. But I've always considered myself more of a creative. But I had to learn. And like when I learned those things, it made me so much better. It made me way better. So that, I guess like if you talk about balance, it's like balance of learning every aspect of the business as best as I possibly can, because then I can have a good general conversation with the specialist and delegating that.
Yes.
But I totally agree. I mean, like it's like that giving yourself the permission to be able to chill for a second. You forget how necessary that is in this line of work, and artists as well. I think a lot of artists who will watch this podcast, the first and foremost, what I've noticed, and you probably noticed, is when you guys started your company early on for the artist development stuff, is by the time they're like 21, they're like, it's so late. I'm never gonna I'm so old. I'm never gonna break. I'm like, listen, Billie Eilish is an exception. This is an outlier. You know, the 16 or 17-year-old kid, that doesn't happen that way for everybody. And I always find that it's like there's so much pressure with these artists who want to be want to make it and become famous or successful. They're like, God, the time is coming up against me. I feel like I'm too old. How old are you? 24.
Like you just started.
You just started.
Yeah, and it's also inspiring to see the artists that the opposite side of it, where they did start early but hadn't had anything happen for like 10 years later, like the Zara Larsson, like having her biggest time ever. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the biggest. And also for Tinashe doing the whole switch up and doing the DJ thing, like not a full rebrand, but like leaning more into that, you know? Like people just don't, I think that...
Olivia Dean, she's like 8 years in the business and only really broke in the past 18 months.
She's amazing.
Kehlani, I mean, that's the best one of all time.
Kehlani.
Look at that. Kehlani. I mean, Jesse,
yeah.
You know, Jesse's been crushing it, but like, I played golf with Byron this morning and we were talking about it, and I was like, the thing about what Jesse's interest, like her career is so great because it is still building, but it is a slow build. But this is like going into the 10th year, right?
Insane.
And there's like a real business here that has been developed and been built, and there's a real fan base. And it's like, listen, you get one record, it is lights out.
Yeah.
Especially someone like that, right? So, and now, when you're talking about artists as well and like reciprocating, I think one thing to be very clear, Jessie was always so good and still is to this day about crediting her entire team.
Amazing.
And you know how that goes a long way.
It's
everything.
All a long way. She never had a problem with us getting that love.
Yeah.
And would always be very clear in any room we'd walk into business meetings. It'd be like, nah, these guys, they hold it down. Any room in a business meeting, if it was an award show, it was always showing love to the team. The name of her company's called Family.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I would say I think that feeling that your client gives you, because I always say like the relationship, okay, so this is how, when someone asks me, what is a manager? Or like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a manager. And they're like, what does that mean? And like, how is that relationship with the client? I always explain it, and it may sound silly, but like the relationship in Avatar where you connect the tails.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
and if it works,
it
works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Do you remember that? Like
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say like that's kind of how I explain management. Like you're like, so the artist is here and then the manager and everyone is like around the artist, but like we have to be like the tightest.
Have to be.
For it to work. Yeah. Like it has to be, the world is around us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like we are together and like the world is around us moving because there's so many people that are going to pull us in so many different directions.
That's a fact.
And we got to stay strong.
Yep.
And so I always remind like Habibeats or the clients I work on, I'm like, this has to be that. And like whenever he calls me or whenever we call, like when he needs something, he'll always be like, what's up, manager of the year? Mm-hmm. Like he makes me feel good. Yeah. And that only makes me want to work harder for him. But then if I'm, then there will be the other side where you're like, oh, blah, 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 and you're like, okay, fuck this, you know?
When you're not seeing,
right?
When
you can't see eye to eye, absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to be seen.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. It's an absolute nightmare. But like, again, AB has such an ability to, he knows how to not only talk to you like a manager, but like a friend. Like me and have a running joke where every time something great happens, we're like, type shit. And then he'll like always say it back to me. And we know what that means. It means more than just the funny thing, but it's a way to break the ice between each other.
Yeah.
I'd say like one of the biggest things I had to teach all young managers or all young artists, if you don't trust each other, get out, man. Stop right now. If you don't give your trust immediately to this person, if you have a wall up, they will not fight for you. A manager's not going to fight for anyone that they feel doesn't trust them. So the trust has to start from day one, even if there's hiccups, even if there's up and downs, even if it's difficult. Yeah. At the end of the day, how you truly feel about a person instinctively is likely who they are for the rest of their lives. So stick by that. But if you start to think, you start to blame everything but yourself, and you don't remember that the person that was there, that trusted you, is still the same person from day one, you can't see them anymore. Right? So that trust is everything. And every client I work with now or I look at, I just want us to trust each other because I trust you immediately. I'm okay if you break my trust.
Yeah.
That's totally fine with me. I can get over that. But if you don't trust me, there's no way we're going to, we can't.
I can't. That was always my thing. Once my trust is broken, so fucking hard.
I can get over
hard,
it.
It's hard for me. I have a tough time with that. But to your point, it's like that trust, it is everything, because then it knows that my artist is going to run through a brick wall for me and I'm going to do the exact fucking same thing.
100%.
Because I know when I'm not in the room, that artist is going to represent me and our team to the fullest, because I'm doing that as well. And like you said, the best management artist combination, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
It's not like everything is roses. It's a family. You become like super tight. And guess what? Brothers and sisters, husband and wife, you fight and you argue, but the world won't know that. You internally can know that. But when you go you fight through it. But guess what? The best thing is always like, you'll have like your issues, and they won't be resolved. Then you got to go to a meeting in 10 minutes. And then you go to that meeting, but it's like never, ever happened.
Yeah.
And you're all still aligned and you're in the room, and it's like a telepathic thing. It's
Absolutely.
like, you ain't got to even say anything. That person on the other side that you're doing a business dealing with, you're like, I already know what they're thinking. I know how I'm going to respond to this. We don't even got to look at each other. It's just like, it's so automatic.
Yeah.
And that comes with trust. It's the only way that you could build it. How do you build trust? You got to spend real time together. You got to get to know each other. You got to really consider, it is like a family dynamic. And if you talk about it from like a business perspective, the way that I always look at it is this: the artist is the CEO and the manager is the COO. That's how I look at it from that perspective.
100%.
And that relationship in business is a very real relationship. You got to trust each other as well.
100%.
And optimism is everything too. It's like remaining optimistic, I believe that we're in the greatest time ever in the music business.
I say it all the time.
I believe we're in a renaissance.
I say it all the time.
I mean, again, words from shout out to Jerry Edouard. Like, I feel like the next 5 to 10 years is going to be bigger artists than ever before. There's going to be bigger hits than ever before. There's going to be bigger rooms sold out than ever before. And Grassfed's going to be a part of one of those. And because I believe in the business, I believe in the art. I don't believe in the tools. I don't believe in the infrastructure. I don't believe in the industry. I believe in the art. I believe in the music. And I just feel like, especially young people, they have an ability to transcend no matter what walls are in front of them. Back in our day was from, Napster to iTunes to streaming. And we all thought we were going to struggle and never make it through. But look, bigger artists than ever before. You're hitting worldwide markets through a click of a button. Yeah. And if you can really penetrate that market, you can then tour and you can make a living. All the things that made us money 10 years ago still exist to this day. None of it's gone away. 100%. Radio, shows, touring, merchandise. Yep. It's all there. I mean, there's artists making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing merchandise but have no streaming. So it's now just about making an impact. Like
building culture around.
Exactly.
I think culture is something that people are wanting so closely to be part of now, because it's just becoming more of a open, acceptable thing.
Yeah. Well, to your point, culture has always been the thing.
Yeah.
You fall in love with an artist because there's something in that artist that is like, you feel like you want to be a part of that. And then you find kind of like there's a community that also feels the same, and you find that community. For me, it was hip hop. It was like that music made me feel a part of a community. I fell in love with the art form. And when I talk about hip hop, I'm talking about like the elements of hip hop. I'm going old school over here, like b-boying, DJing, MCing, graffiti. Like, I fell in love with that shit. Yeah. Specifically b-boying. Like, I was a breaker when I was younger.
Oh wow.
I love that shit. I'm aging myself. I'm 42 as well. Here, you know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Like,
I think I see the b-boying. I see the breakdancing. I see it.
That's how I learned how to talk to girls. You know what I mean? When I was younger,
I sang.
I do head spins, and it was cool back in the day. Girls, now you can't do that shit. But like,
I sang Donald Jones, "Where I Want to Be." Anytime I wanted to get a girl, I just sang that song.
You would sing?
That's it.
Oh, only I could sing.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I would do.
I would do 6 steps and then go.
Oh, cool.
Top rocks, bottom rocks, do this.
Okay.
Like, and then like that was cool back in the day. Today,
the girls would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, high school, like, no, they're just like, this guy's fucking lame.
No, they really love that shit.
Today, I think these kids, it's a different time. But back then, it worked. But I mean, that was a part of it, right? And then it's like I found my group of friends and my circle of friends too, but like if you go to like a System of a Down show, you know what I mean? That's a real community.
Of course.
Look at
My emo girl days, my Hot Topic days.
your Deftone days, your System of a Down days.
Yeah.
Like but there's people there that have similar interests. I mean, you can go back as far as, and this is the first conversation I ever had on the podcast was with Troy. And he's like, everybody talks about like the super fan, but the Beatles had super fans from day one. The only thing was just the medium of how they would connect with each other. It was millions and millions of fans sending in fan mail.
Right. I remember that.
But there was communities around that. There was culture around that, right? Beatlemania.
Yes.
Real culture around that.
Still exists.
Yeah.
But we just didn't talk about it. The only reason it gets talked about now more than ever is because all of a sudden there was a report in Goldman & Sachs. The superfan business is a $4 billion business annual or whatever it may be. So it becomes like monetizable.
Yes.
That's when it becomes all of a sudden the music business. Now it's like let's all talk about this and let's all figure out how to get to that. But the truth is also there is that direct to fan business that you can have. And, it's not all about the tools. It's about the optimism. And I think like two people can have the same set of tools, but if you have different mindsets, one's positive and one's negative, I can tell you who's going to make it work.
Sure, of course.
But I think also like what you're saying is powerful, bro. I mean, it's like I have this theory, or people can disagree with this, but I think being an artist at first is important to be extremely selfish. When you're creating music, you need to be selfish. If you think you know who's going to resonate with it, then you're not a real artist.
Brother, this superstar executive who I was with yesterday stopped me dead in my tracks. And I was kind of telling him, I said, the best artists have this narcissism in them. And he said to me, he's like, I would look for that in the artists because if they had the narcissism, I'm working with them. I was like, really? I'm like, I feel like that's the thing to run away from. He said, nah, man. But that was what we were talking about. And it was a profound thing that he said to me. And I think about it more like selfishly, but he just went straight to the narcissism thing. And I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful. Now, I'm not saying to artists, go and be a piece of shit. You know what I mean? But like, yes, the
creating is a selfish act. Creating music, creating art is not. I've only seen the greatest artists. I don't want to say on writers, but the greatest artists, they create from a place that is within inside them. And only they are resonating with it. They don't know who will resonate with it. And the reason why a Daniel Caesar or a Jesse or whatever will do so well is because when people discover it, they had no idea they needed it.
Yeah.
It's why Billie Eilish, to me, is one of the biggest artists in the world, because her and her brother were creating selfishly from their place of whatever that was, insecurity, whatever it was. And the music felt extremely emotional. And Billie on the outside related to girls where they're like, we talk about this all the time. Oh, I could just wear baggy clothes and have my nails on and feel beautiful. She normalized it. You don't have to be like every other girl. You can wear sneakers, you can wear hoodies, you can be whoever you want, but you don't have to be like everyone else. And when people discovered her, they're like, I didn't know I needed you. Oh my God, thank you. You gave me something I didn't know I needed. And now I can grow with you because you provided a side of me that was missing.
But it comes so natural. Yes. It comes natural to the artist. Because the artist will be like, you fuck with that shit that I thought that was just my thing.
That was my weird thing I've been doing.
Yo, I remember one time, just long time ago, before Jesse broke, like way before. But somebody hired her in Toronto to do a show, like at a random, I don't even remember where it was. And the promoter met us outside. Some promoter, I don't even know, I can't remember his name, just, whatever.
Yeah.
And like opened the door, saw Jesse was like in a t-shirt and some shorts. And the guy says, is that what you're gonna wear? And we were like, but like me and like Jesse were like, Jesse's like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna wear. It's like, it's all good. And I looked at that motherfucker like, man, what the fuck are you? And then in that moment too, we were like, oh, you think that like you need to wear, you have to have some kind of look to be like to make it? We're like, you know what? Nah, fuck that. Do you wear whatever you're gonna? And that kind of like was an indicator for us in that moment of like, hey, there's this like image that people have of like what success looks like in the business.
Yes.
Hell no.
Yeah.
We're not. No, we're going to play by our rules. I don't know, 2 spits probably just fucking.
No, but that's such a real thing that I will still say that I'm a newer manager. And I feel like I will always say that just because you're always learning new things.
Yeah.
But with Habibeats specifically, that is such a real thing because there is no like pocket you can put him in. There is no genre you can put him in. There is no like trajectory of what he should be doing. He created a brand based off of a box that was never checked. Like even when you go like, side note, just because my ADHD for a second, when you go fill out a form and it says, where are you from? And it says like Asia, blah, blah, blah. There's no box for us. So it's almost like he's creating this box.
Yeah, that's cool.
For everyone. And like, similar to what you're saying, like it's so special. It's like the most amazing feeling ever. But like, to your point of like, is that what you're wearing? Like, there's been times where I tell Habibeats and I'm like, hey, like this person is asking us to create, for example, today, a set of like, they wanted something specific that wasn't exactly what we did, but they wanted it to be a bit more mainstream and fit their box. And he was like, no, fuck that. Like, you want me?
You want me? Yeah.
This is what you're wanting me for.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
straight up.
yes, straight up, like 100%. And like, to me, that's so special, especially for artists, like learning. It's like we work with another amazing artist who his name's Navan. He's from Toronto. He's like this Persian Canadian artist that sings in Farsi and French. And like that also has never been done. We're creating the similar world around Navan that we did with Habibeats, where it's like catering to the boxes that have never been checked. And we're seeing that grow very quickly because similar to what you're saying, more than ever, like culture is such a beautiful thing and like it's such an empowering thing, but like being true to who you are and not having to feel like you need to like cater to certain things to make it. You just put your head down, keep working, doing what you're doing, growing what you're doing, be loyal to what you are and what you're doing and genuine. And people fuck with that. Like, and they want that.
That when people say authenticity, that's the perfect explanation of what authenticity is.
Yeah.
That's the perfect explanation because you have to be, authenticity just is essentially mean be who you are. You can't be somebody else because guess what? You're going to be second best.
Yes.
You got to be yourself.
And I battle with that as a newer manager because then I hear the education side, like this is how the music business is. This is what you should do. And then there's like the little of lack of education of like the history of all that. But then knowing what we're doing is working. So I'm like, do I lean a little this way of like, oh, this is the traditional music business. We got to do this to make sure people are happy. But like, no. Stick here and stay here because this is what's clearly working.
Yeah. Also, this is the music business. It's kind of the wild, wild west. There's no rules and regulations in this fucking thing when there should be.
None.
But like, so like like that traditional way of doing the business. When people say that, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
I guess when it comes like pre-streaming, maybe I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But all I know is when there is this like idea of this the thing again. You're talking about like optimism, right? When I hear so many people on social media, because I get it now more than ever, is artists or certain managers and be like, the music business is fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, what era would you rather be in? This one? I'm like, sure, things are going to be fucked up. But you know what? The business was pretty fucked up when it wasn't deregulated the way that it is right now.
Yeah.
When it wasn't democratized. Guess what? There's a lot of predatory deals.
Yeah.
The artist wasn't making money. Show me 20 years ago which artists were making money on their record sales.
None. Signed
to a major label. Limp Bizkit, I just saw, speaking of which, Fred Durst, he's suing right now because he's never seen a royalty statement. And the record label said, you're still unrecouped.
What?
This is significant other Limp Bizkit saying you're still unrecouped. He audited them. They owed him $1 million and he just wanted to go and sued him for way more.
I was going to say, that was...
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
40 million sold across the globe.
Yeah.
Insane.
And you would like, super successul. Like that new metal successful. That era was massive when it came to, there was nobody bigger than that.
100%.
And they're telling, and you're, so what era of the business was it when the artists were making that kind? Come on, man. Now is different. right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like sure they made money on show money and stuff like that, but
not what he was deserved.
Glass half empty, glass half full. I've been saying 100%. That pretty religiously lately, but
there's a thing about that too. I mean, like even now, like I hear artists all day long, independent, man. I want to control my masters. I want to own my masters. I'm like, cool, man. Like, okay, but are you going in the studio with killers? Because I'm cool with you owning your masters. But if we're not going with killers, then what are we doing? I'm happy to sign to a major label. Like, we need to focus on
like if
killers.
you got good partners, right? Like if you have great partners, because 100% of nothing is what?
Nothing.
It's nothing. But you know, if you have great music, and then Charlie said this on this conversation, in this podcast, Charlie Rocket, amazing. Remind me of him actually, now that I think about it, is like,
I love Charlie.
Great fire in the conversation. But Charlie's just like, I don't think there's good labels and bad labels. And I was like, you know what? I agree. I think there's like just like individuals that you want to do business with, and some of them can be on the major system. Yes. And if they fuck with you, and you know, like you can do good deals. The truth as well is like, again, not to bring it back to me or anything, but there was, you know, at Coachella, there was a lot of executives, high-powered executives, who were wanting to have conversations with me because of the podcast, and they watch it, and they felt comfortable to talk to me, and they're like, you know, the truth is this, like, those predatory deals, like of the major labels, they don't really exist the way that they do, and like we don't do that.
Can't get away with it.
He's like, I don't think this guy, one of them told me, and part of one of the majors, and he's like, I don't think I've done he's like, I think I've done license deals only for like the last decade.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been explaining this to everybody. I'm like, you're so confused in what you think the business is. I mean, one, you signed it. So whatever you signed, you signed. That's on you. I always tell artists, you signed it, that's on you. That's not, you didn't have the nuance to like fight something. But you want to stay independent, yet you're working with sub-average producers, sub-average writers, sub-average content creators. And then you're asking me why there's no playlisting, why you're not getting anything. Well, the second you ask me about playlisting, I can't work with you anymore. If you think your business is defined by playlisting, you really have something loose in your head. You need to create something that is selfishly about you. And then you need to figure out how people are going to resonate with it. If they don't, blame the music, not the industry. No label, no manager, no playlist can give you more than maybe 5 to 10% support. Maybe, if you're lucky. Imagine major labels. I said this the other day as a joke. Created a Instagram page called AtlanticRecords.com/failed artists. They would have to post 3,000 times a day to show you how many failed artists they have. We only look at the ones that win and think that's the trajectory. Or independent artists look at Russ. I've met Russ. This guy is an unbelievable human being. He's not sitting there going, I just want to be independent. He's working his ass off. He's working morning to night. And it's actually, sometimes it can hurt your career because he's not looked at like a major label artist is, or like a Drake or whatever, but he's making more money than them. And he's happy with that. It's not going to be the same story.
I don't make more money than Drake, but yes,
I'm just saying, you know what I mean though? Prospectively, like he owns everything.
I get you, yes.
And he's able to like decide where everything is going while maintaining his composure.
Absolutely.
It's insanely competitive with himself. Insanely 100%. To the point where it's hard to be around him.
Student of the game.
Because he's so crazy and he's so on it and he remembers you. I met him once and I met him again. He's like, Nael. I was like, oh, this guy's got it. I mean, 99% of artists just don't understand. It's a different level of saying, hey, I'm going to remain independent. Like that game takes forever. So to think you need to be independent because that's how you're going to be successful is wrong. And you just need to work with people that believe in you. If that means you're giving and giving up things, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, how many writers have made fortune from 5% publishing? I know that for a fact. My brother has made fortunes from 5%, 7%, 8% publishing.
Yes.
He's never batted an eye when someone's like, yeah, you're getting less published. Like, I don't care. Right. If this song ain't going to radio, it don't matter. And so people have lost that. While yet, major labels still exist, major hits still exist, radio is bigger than it used to be, it's supposed to be up by 1%, growing every single year. So what is the excuse that you don't want to try to be on top of the world? Because you have it in your head that all that matters is controlling your masters, owning your rights, being independent. Well, how many fucking independent labels right now are signing 80 artists a month? Ain't no chance those artists are going to blow up the way they could. But you see a I love Max Usada and Julie Greenwald are starting a record label, and their whole ethos is we're not doing what everyone else is doing. We're signing 2-3 artists, developing them, and breaking them into stardom. You look at Republic Records,
That's
Atlantic.
like Nick Raff. Nick Raff does the same thing.
Yeah, bro, and I still believe in that. I'll never not believe in that because I'm like you, a movie buff. I know when a movie is really good because they took 6 months to write that script. They took their time. How many times you watch a movie on Netflix as if the movie was made so you can scroll on your phone while you're watching it?
That's kind of the precedent now on Netflix.
But yet once in a while, a movie will come
Yeah.
that is made well. Like Rip was made by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Unbelievable movie because they took months to make it and then they told all the staff, if this does well, everyone's earning.
Right, they all get equity.
And so Netflix said, if this does 110% streaming, then we will 110% like, streaming time or whatever it's called, then we will start paying out royalties to everyone. They did it. And it's the same thing that K-pop Demon Hunters did it. I think people don't want to accept that you have to still make exceptional ideas. Whether you're using AI, not AI, whether you are using a team of people, if it's not exceptional, don't expect it to do well. It only needs to be exceptional to you and the people who are challenging you in the room. But if someone's not challenging you and you just want everyone to listen to what you're doing because you think it's really, really good, but you didn't even try to beat the last thing you make, don't talk to me about being independent. Don't talk to me about owning your rights. Don't talk to me about publishing. Don't talk to me about lack of playlisting or what executives didn't do or did do. What did you do?
Yeah. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Is just like you can point the finger at everybody else in the room except for yourself, but guess what? That's going to be a detriment to your career. I tell you, it'll not work. Always do your best to. When things go wrong in my day to day, week to week, I always. At the end of the day, I will look at myself and like, how can I have approached that situation better? The other thing about being an independent artist and this whole like owning my rights and all this stuff, it's like, okay, cool. To your point, like you can be an independent artist, but are you an entrepreneur?
Right.
Because I hope you understand that being an independent artist is being a businessman, a businesswoman, and being an entrepreneur and understanding how that works. I hope you like reading agreements. And if you don't, guess what? You're going to need a partner.
Right.
And that's no longer independent the way that you think it is, right?
Or do you have the budget to bring in that partner?
Do you have the budget? Do you know how to not spend money and put together a proper rollout that's not going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars because you don't know where you're going to get the capital from? There's so much that goes in. You have to make every single decision yourself.
Yeah, it can be definitely a little bit looking at it as like in a small picture, all to just maintain the ownership yourself, which like even when it comes to artists working with other writers, like, I don't know, you guys could probably speak on that more, but I found it to be such a struggle as a manager to like understand, like, why wouldn't you want to work with other writers? Why is that such a hard thing for someone? And whether anyone wants to admit it, I feel like a big part of that is ego, like there's nothing wrong with, of course, writing your own music, for sure. But I think there is a place where collaboration is extremely important.
Absolutely.
And like some of the biggest songs I've gone on the Spotify credits and this new thing that they're doing on Spotify, the DNA thing, right? It's pretty cool because then you can kind of connect the dots. Like, but when you look at these credits, it's like some of the biggest records have like so many people involved.
Yeah.
I would say like there's enough food on the table to feed everyone. Okay, especially when you get to that point. Like I can imagine there's definitely enough food to feed everyone. But when you're just a little bit more like closed-minded in that sense, when it comes to collaborations, it's very limiting in a creative capacity as well.
Yeah. And
that therefore limits you overall on the business and where things can lead.
I would agree to that. The thing is here on this side is that I'm not an artist, so I can't speak to the plight of the artist, but I think what ends up happening with artists, real artists, they will have a lot of trouble working with other writers because it doesn't feel like it absolutely came from them.
Correct.
Right. So it's innately, it's like vile. It's not me all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I respect that. And that's my understanding of it now years later. It's like, okay, you need to have ownership of this because this is your story.
Yes.
I get it. I understand. But here's the other reality. Want massive records? We all love Kanye's music. We might not love the person of Kanye. whatever. I'm talking about the music. Guess what? It's 37 writers on every fucking song.
100%.
Well, okay, yes, but let me kind of push that narrative a little more. Let me ask you, like, why is it, and this is the question I ask artists, and it always comes down to this, it's like, but why is it that if we did put a writer in the room with you, someone that you liked, someone that you connected with, someone that you respected and inspired you, why wouldn't it be that that writer, in the most respectful way, isn't the vehicle to help you get to that place? Like, they're not taking anything away from your story. They're there to enhance your story. They're there to allow you a creative space to like be able to be part of that magic that you're building. I feel like it isn't so black and white.
Yeah. Also, how do you become a global superstar if you do everything? It's impossible.
Yeah.
How do you become Beyonce by writing every single song?
Right. Right. No, and I to your point, I think it is all collaboration. I mean, to answer your question, again, I'm not an artist, but I think artists there'll be that one thing is very precious to them.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it also comes from, if I really have to think about it, it's probably from childhood.
True.
Because before they are even artists, recording artists, they're poets. They're writing poems, and they've been writing poems since they were 4 years old.
Yeah.
Everything is
And it's
poetry.
for themselves.
Our daughter does that.
There you go.
She's
Right.
just always just like.
But I think it's about challenging.
Journal entries, you know, like the
Yeah.
poem. And so that's all for themselves. And to the earlier point we're talking about Billy and Phineas, it's like, you know, they did this thing selfishly. And that's the one thing they're not going to let go of. They will never
Yeah.
let go of because it's so. But I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
maybe look at it from a different perspective because the rest of your business, you are allowing people to push that vehicle further.
But you're seeing hits. I mean, look, the Writers is podcast. Great podcast, you know? And you can see, like, it gives you a look into the biggest writers in the world.
Totally.
And what they all say is, there's like 6 or 7 of us every time in the room, or 3 or 4 of us every time in the room. Some guy is better than the other, but one person offers top line stronger, another person offers lyrics stronger, another person does production, another person's more synth style, and they all matter. But every one of us are convinced in the room that we need to make things better. And that conviction is what I say is missing with most people. Like, I mean, what are you going to tell an artist when they say, hey, I want to do everything myself? No problem. Year 1, crushing. Year 2, crushing. Year 3, crushing. Ooh, year 4, this album didn't do as well. But you still want to shoot big music videos. How are we going to afford them? How are we going to cut them? How are we going to pay for them? Everyone needs to listen to me. You need to do what I want to do. Well, I kind of need something that gets the label and the team to want to invest in you. Yeah, but I've built all these amazing things. This music is so amazing. Yeah, but they're looking at the P&L. They're looking at the numbers, and it's not generating enough. So they want to cut the video budget. They want to cut the studio time budget. They want to cut the album budget. And I always go to the artists. The more they cut, the more you need to be more competitive. The more you need to start accepting in outside work. I'd say the greatest example of that is Maroon 5. I don't know him personally in any sort of way, but I do know for a fact that he stopped writing the songs. And that's what transcended their careers. That's what took them into the stratosphere. He stopped writing the songs, and he allowed other people to write them while knowing you'll never be able to perform them the way I can.
Right.
It's like Beyonce having, almost 200 writers on Love and Renaissance, which we were a part of. I think there's an interview of her saying, I have nothing to prove to you as a writer.
True.
I have nothing to prove to you. I mean, would you be surprised if you knew Frank Sinatra never wrote a single song?
No, well, not me. I'm a fan.
Right, you know that, but he never wrote a single song.
Yeah.
They were written by other people. Yet none of them could be Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is so important, that you're not gonna ever be Frank Sinatra. So when I see like a Tate McRae, who I fucking think is phenomenal, because she's a beast, and she's going in with absolute beasts, and those beasts recognize that she's a beast.
Yeah.
Ryan Tedder's like, I'm not going in with this artist who just wants to do everything themselves. I'm going with this artist that knows what I can bring to the table. So I think there's nothing wrong with an artist wanting to do everything themselves, but you have to recognize when you've hit a wall and that you can accept that help and find that person. I've been proud that I've worked with many people that have gone through that difficult time, and I took the challenge to say, I'm not going to change you. I'm going to find someone that challenges you and that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like, oh, they see me and I want to take this on. I want to challenge myself creatively. But I think we're all part of the birth of artists that have become so obsessed with doing it themselves. Daniel Caesar, Jesse, her, they all came up at a similar time about 10 years ago, where prior to that, you know very well, there was no such thing as that type of artist killing it. There was no like artists who did it all themselves with their own team, and they didn't need outside hits, and there was no big writers on the project. That's a whole evolution that's happened from SZA, all these clients who you can't see the writing credits and see like the biggest names on them. But then that kind of, in my opinion, again, these are just my opinions, went away, and it's gone back to a collective of like really killer writers who are dominating all the biggest songs and dominating all the biggest artists. And I don't know, for me, I'm only interested in focusing on that.
Well, I mean, even those guys, the Daniel Caesars and the Jessies, I could speak to that very specifically because I work with Jesse and Daniel Caesar team I know very well.
Yes.
But
shout out to Matt.
Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Jordan. But I'll tell you right now, when Freudian was a thing, like that team was, that was Daniel, that was Jordan, that was Matthew, that was Riley Bell, that was Sean Brown, and that was Kayvon. And that was the nucleus, right? Sean Brown and Kayvon creating all these beautiful visuals, creative, the album cover. We were the producers on the music video, and we were doing Best Part with them, and they're absolutely incredible nucleus of a team. It wasn't just Daniel Caesar and Jordan and Matthew. They had to build a team, because the inverse is true too. Because when you're building a business and it's growing, you can't do it all yourself. And you gotta let go of these pieces, right? When it was Byron, Jesse, and myself, we had Dana Meyerson on Biz 3, who was PR. We had David Jacobs, who was legal, who was handling everything around that. He came a little bit later, but Zach Katz and Jeremiah Thomas were publishing and A&R, right? Like, we did a publishing deal before we did a record label deal, because we said, hey, we need some capital. We have better leverage doing a publishing deal. We don't need to go to a record label right away. But once that happened, we had also Zach Iser and Caroline Yim. Zach Iser was the agent. He believed way early. We have all these things in play. I've said this a few times now, and I got so much love for him, but Pat Corcoran.
Yeah,
we had him in our corner. He was helping us out. Also because I'm just like I'm tenacious as well. I'm like, I'm going to fucking try and connect with the people that understand how the business is operating right now. And he's like, let me connect you to Rosa. Then we had Nate Wozniak in Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
We're connecting with these people. We didn't do it all by ourselves. No. It's just independent by the name, right?
Yeah.
But we're having definition problems. It's just meant that like, we weren't signed to a record label, put out a song, it goes crazy, and the world comes around and we start to look and navigate. It's like, there's a lot of resources here. Can we put together a good deal? We're not afraid to push back on things. And at that time, being a manager in this, like I like to push and I like to challenge. I like the deal. I like the deal making and the this is like, of course, this is our lives we're talking about, you know what I mean? And
the ping pong of it.
Yeah, that is just like, if they say no to me on something, that's the worst they could say. No, okay, cool.
And that is like, exactly, I love that.
Yeah.
I actually get a high off of no's. I don't know what it is. I'm like, great, no, sounds good. You're going to be the one losing, not me.
Oh, when I used to be in sales, I used to have to roll 150 calls a day.
Yeah.
So like my boss.
5 no's before you hang up?
My boss would be like, how are you going to get 150 calls? Like, I'm going to beg them to say no to me. I'm going to get everyone. Say no. You're not interested? Thanks. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Oh, really?
Bye.
Yeah.
Right away. And then they'd be like, Nael, you're going through too many calls. They're like, don't worry, man. I don't got time to waste in hoping a person's going to say yes or no. Let me just get the no out of the way. And a lot of times what CEOs would do, because I would call like big time CEOs, I was corporate matchmaking at the time. That's what I was doing. They loved that I got them to say no. They'd be like, Nael, hold on. I love that you're not wasting my time. Email me. I'll call you in a week and I'll buy the tickets and we'll move on. And every single time they would say that, I guaranteed it was going to be close because I knew this CEO of Victoria's Secret is in a call with some 22-year-old in an office, in a boiler room office being like, hey, I'm Nael from IQPC, like as if I was anybody at the time. I was lying. But the reality was,
I did sit call like that. I did. Oh my God.
Dude, I did that for years, bro. I did day-to-day. I sold knives. I did everything.
I was on the phones as well too. Knives. The knives.
Yes, I swear to God, I worked 60 part-time jobs before music. Yeah. So I did Chuck E. Cheese, bro. I was Chucky for fucking 4 years. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit while selling weed. You know what I mean? But like, that's what you
taking off the thing. Oh, this is a
straight
movie,
the fuck
bro.
up, dude.
Yeah.
Straight the fuck up. That's
exactly. Dime bag in your bag.
That was
like,
straight up, dude. I put it in the Chucky cup. Someone come in the back. You get your weed. I go back to being Chuck E. Cheese. I swear to God, dude. I swear to God. That was my life. You know what I mean? Like, but
that's the hustle.
I have nothing to hide from. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up as a hustler, but I just think like that's what it takes, man. It takes that tough. It takes that story. And
it's a TV show.
Yeah,
this
TV
is
show
a
for sure.
Movie. Yeah.
I mean, I think she's an absolute movie, you know, but like I just think, man, we can't lose that. We cannot lose that thought that we're gonna make something incredible. I look at Kehlani, and shout out to David, to me, one of the greatest managers of all time.
Agreed.
She, I think, just was convinced it was going to happen. I know nothing about them. I don't work with them. I love them. I'm such a fan. But when I saw Folda doing well, I was like, yes.
And Chris Tynes, which we just put out the episode. Christopher Riddick.
Oh, really?
Tynes.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was amazing. Yeah, he's the producer, right?
Yes,
exactly. But I was like, first of all, I knew it was going to happen one way or another. And she's such an advocate of like love and peace. And she's so like political and a wonderful human being. And we've had so much interactions with her and her team and everyone. But it was so beautiful to see like that over time, all she needed was a record.
Right.
And look how it transcended for her.
Yeah.
So like in Jesse's case, like it's no question, a record will just come and that's it. I mean, even my brother, he tried everything as an artist. I mean, no one has struggled more than my brother. My brother has slept in subway stations. My brother has slept under everyone's freaking table at their house to just like save money. I remember when I first came to LA, he's like, we're gonna go shopping to get food. We went to the 99-cent store, dude. No lie. And he had like $30 and that's what we had for the entire month. And he was eating shit ass eggs and crappy sausages, but he didn't care. He was in the studio till 2 a.m. every single day and he never gave up and he never stopped trying and he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And at 33 or something like that, magic happened. And Rude happened in his 30s.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he was told by everyone it wasn't going to happen, that it wasn't going to work. And shout out to Charles Chavez, who was the first person that believed in my brother on the artist side. But then my brother had an epiphany, and I think I was a part of this epiphany. I was like, how about we make it not about you and make it about a band and a brand? Mm-hmm. And that way remove yourself from the equation with your incredible songwriting. And then when he then invested his own money, got a house called the Magic House that we all stayed in and lived in, put everyone in the house, all the band members, and said, I will pay for your lives, just please dedicate to me. And then they created Rude.
Crazy. Wow.
And then that's how Rude blew up. So like
it was an amazing house. There were so many creatives in and out of that house.
Straight goosebumps.
On the couches, on the floor, like it was like a 4-bedroom house with like 15 people at a time living in it. It was like
literally people sleeping in the, what's it called? The water and heater room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just young cats that were just trying to make it.
Yeah.
That were coming from, because, you know, everyone in LA is not from LA.
Yeah.
So it's all these people coming from all over the place.
That's like Tyler Arms.
Love Tyler Arms.
Yeah, he had the house over here in LA too, and all of us would go and crash. He'd let anybody come in there. You're Canadian? Okay, cool. Do you know somebody that knows, like, is there like a first degree of separation? Good person?
Come on down.
That was exactly what it was for us too. It was exactly that.
I just think it's just about good, man. You remember the Canadian group Down with Webster?
That's Tyler.
Yeah.
That's Tyler.
And me and Tyler have spoken before in DM, and like I knew them before I was in music. I used to work with this company called the Young Astronauts, an amazing Canadian.
You work with Young Astronauts?
Yeah.
They made Mad Rock's. They made Mad Rock's first website.
Nev is one of the most incredible creatives of all time. She is
beast,
unbelievable. I spent so many hours with them. I lived in their office.
No fucking
I was part
way.
of everything. The legendary stories I have to tell you off camera, but like. Absolutely incredible human beings. And like they were really the opening of like, no, good ideas matter. And if we focus on good ideas, like people will react. And I even remember seeing recently Down with Webster coming back, and I was fucking proud of them. Yeah. I was like,
I saw the show there in the history, and
they're amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why you stopped at some point, but like when you guys came back, it just proves to show like good things just don't go away. I mean, look at Backstreet Boys, you know, having one of the most successful Sphere shows of all time. Yes. I sang every song, every lyric, every melody, every little thing.
No, to the Sphere? Or no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
I don't know if
they're
they're
coming
still
back.
there.
Okay.
I think they are coming back, but I watched also The Wizard of Oz, which was amazing.
At the Sphere?
with our daughter. Yeah. I don't know, bro. I just think it's so beautiful if you look back at all the incredible things that's happened in the industry. And if you just continue to like see that and fall in love with that, you could do anything. Any manager who's listening to this pod right now, dude, tomorrow you can transcend. Tomorrow you can blow up. You can lose everything, burn it all down, and do it all again. But you got to come from a place of like delusional belief. You got to come from a place of love, and you got to make sure you're working with people that want to be the best. Because otherwise, I mean, what are we doing? We're getting by, you know? Like, I look at my brother's career,
Hell no.
that's what it's about. You know what I mean? I look at
Wrong
what we're doing with
business.
AB, that's what it's about.
Yes.
I have no interest in anything else other than that. Like,
And I have no doubt that this company of yours is going to absolutely crush.
thank you, bro.
I think this is a great way to end the conversation.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is a good way to go and conquer the world.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this, both of y'all. I think y'all have an amazing story, and I love it.
Thank
I
you
love
for
the
having
energy
us.
between both of y'all and the love and passion that you have for your artists and your writers. Amazing. This
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
y'all.
us.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. As the official music publishing rights partner of TMP, Cosign is helping us bring the TMP Music Publishing Playbook to life. Check out the new playlist on YouTube and socials to learn how music publishing actually works. And don't forget to apply to Cosign so you're not missing out on money you could be earning from your music. Appreciate you for tapping in. My name is Mauricio Ruiz, host of the Manager's Playbook, and I'll see you next week.